Hi, it's me, Wyatt, the boy,
And me, Clem, the lobster.
and you're listening to The Lobster and His Boy, in which we are rereading the Chronicles of Narnia in publication order. In this episode, we will be discussing part 2 of The Magician's Nephew. Will Jadis rule the well? Will Strawberry be a good boy? Definitely, he will be.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, he's Strawberry, he's the best boy. We left off. I was gonna say we start with, but we should do a recap. We left off with the Empress at the foot of our boy Diggory's steps.
We left in chaos.
We left in the middle of chaos.
I hope this email finds you in absolute, complete fucking chaos.
And we join back in with that chaos in chapter 8. The fight at the lamppost. Oh, Empress, are ya? We'll see about that. 3 cheers for the Empress of Colniach. And I was confused. I mean, I knew that it was a mean joke at the woman's expense.
At Jadis.
Yeah, Jadis's expense. So I looked it up. And Colney Hatch was a real name for a hamlet name, so kind of.
Was Hamlet not real?
No. I think the hamlet, the little villages, is just kind of like a street name for the Frerne Hospital. It's an asylum, so they're basically like. She's escaped from the asylum. Come, yeah. She's the empress of this. She's come get her.
She's Cocoa for Cuckoo Puffs.
And
she's cuckoo for she's cuckoo. She's Chiquita Banana.
Yeah, because she's riding around on a horse with a sword in her hand, with no sleeves. She ain't got no sleeves.
Disgusting.
And they all start laughing after she kind of gives a little curtsy, because she's like, oh, they're calling me an empress. They get it. And then realizes that they're making a joke out of her, gets pissed, hulks out, and rips the, arm, they say, off the lamppost.
Well, the whole concept of them laughing at this giant woman, she's way bigger than them. She could definitely hurt them, and then she just, snaps a lamp, what
is it, cast iron? A fucking iron bar off a lamppost.
I've been mad, and I've thought that I've been that mad, but I can probably confirm right here that I don't think I've ever been that mad. And she takes her iron bar, tosses it in the air, and catches it, and just kind of what-ta-ta, and just gets ready to lunge for them. And thankfully, Diggory is prepared.
Yeah, he's like, this is my opportunity. She's distracted. Let me run toward her. And she's just starts whacking people. In that 2 seconds. She probably kills the police chief.
I mean, well,
she hits him on his helmet.
Yeah, maybe he's got one of those little hats or anything. But of course, perfect timing. Polly, I guess, has just just was soup. Hey, by the way, I'm here. Let's do it. And we get
You're a brick.
You're a brick. And a second crash of another person getting bing bong ding donged on the head, and
turns into a full riot. The crowd is going crazy, and Diggory has Polly holding on to his shirt basically. He's like, I'm gonna tell you when we're gonna catch her. Honestly, this is Shasta level brave, low key. This is really intense.
The progression of their bravery and the trajectory of this story. I mean, it makes me think that they are closer to Lucy's age because of the duality between being dumb and impulsive, and also very I mean, I guess brave and dumb in that, but
because they think everything's gonna be okay, because nothing. But also, Diggory knows bad shit's gonna happen. His mom's really sick.
But at least in this, maybe a good distraction, because we have the cabbie, who is obviously the bravest as well as the kindest person present, who's keeping the horse close and trying to make sure that the animals are safe. And a stone flies over Diggory's head. You just hear the witch screaming out at them. Do you want me to do it, or do you want?
Yeah. Real quick though about the cabbie. He only cares about this horse. Because also, if this horse hurts somebody, they're probably going to kill the horse. Because it's like 1905 or whatever. So he's like, no, like,
I thought it was like 18. I think we're both correct because it's set in the Victorian slash Edwardian times is like when the Sherlock Holmes, but the internet according to the internet says 1880 and like 1914. So we're probably both right. It's probably somewhere right in the middle essentially.
cool. And yeah, he's keeping up with the horse. I mean, she's probably not moving very fast anymore because of the riot. So the horse is doing shit. She's doing shit. The cabbie's trying to get the horse. The kids are trying to get the witch. She's having a grand old time because of the chaos and the battle. Like, she's been asleep for thousands, millions. We have no idea how long on Charn.
That is, yeah.
And now she's awake. She went through that shitty wood between the worlds and she had a rough go, and now she's here and she was like, this world kind of sucks. But now they're like challenging her and she's like, wait a second, this is kind of fun.
Hang on, record scratch noise. Do you think on Charn that the sun was dying because they had been waiting there that long, or do you think it was because of the spell? Because at first I thought it was because of the word, but now I'm like, maybe she did the word and like, because a sun, like, yeah. I mean,
well, Polly asks if the spell had done that to the sun, and she says that the sun had always been that way.
Okay.
Because it's just dying. But the way you brought it up, I do kind of think that her cryo sleep spell could have had some effect on the planet, at least the planet, if not the sun, but her own planet, because it started falling apart.
Okay.
Like, right as she woke up, yeah, it started falling apart.
Because the sun takes about 5 million years. And according to the internet, after the hydrogen runs out, there's like a period between 2 to 3 billion years where the sun goes through the different phases of death. So I'm thinking it could have been at least 1 billion years that she had been frozen there. So anyway, just amplifying your point.
Right. And now she's, whether or not she was awake during that time, we don't know. But
She'd be frozen.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be frozen?
It says she were almost happy, sounding as if for once she were almost happy. Which also, this is from the kids' perspective. They have only ever seen her being commanding and rude and queenly or what the fuck ever. But
bitchly.
She has a great little quote here.
Do you want to say it or?
No, would you?
Scum! You shall pay dearly for this when I have conquered your world. Not one stone of your city will be left. I will make it as Charn, as Felinda, as Soloris, as Barmendin.
Soloris.
Solors.
Allora.
I had the thought, like, are these countries on the world of Charn? Are these other worlds that she has conquered? I think more likely that they are the names of the other families that she and her family of Charn defeated on the planet.
Yeah, I'm like, was it the planet Charn? Is it like...
Well, she said that it's the planet Charn, but she also said that her family of Charn killed out all the other families. So, of course, they named it after themselves once they were the only family left on the planet. And then the family started fighting because there's nothing else to do.
But she ain't got no spaceship. She's not like going intergalactic, planetary, or intergalactic.
Yeah, that's why I think it's probably just the names of the other families. Like the other houses.
She does go into another dimension.
Well, she is kind of from, she's from another dimension.
Why do I know so many words from that song? Thankfully, Diggory is not swayed by this speech, and he jumps and he grabs her ankle just in time for her to kick him
in the face.
And cut his lip, mouth full of blood, which, like, I honestly can taste it for whatever reason.
Me too, and I've had bloody nose twice in my life. You've had way more than that.
My life is a bloody nose.
But also, fun fact about me, I didn't sweat until I turned like 14. I know
okay,
this
Botox.
is I just got really red in the face, and when I would
That's so precious.
run, I would just taste like blood in the back of my throat.
That's not precious.
Well, also, I think it's just because I can't really breathe through my nose properly most of the time. So when I would run, I couldn't really breathe through my nose, so then I was just mouth breathing. And I always had PE early in the day because I was a band kid, so I had to have the early PE. And it's like early morning air, mouth breathing, dry ass, cold throat, and it just bad for your body.
So you're just given full Eustace.
Yeah, I was Eustace.
Yeah.
I didn't sweat. I bet Eustace doesn't sweat. Not until Narnia.
I mean, in like on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of sweating, like I'm full blown Katya. I feel like most of the time, like I wake up sweating, I go to bed sweating.
No, now I sweat all the time. My hands are sweaty right now.
Oh yeah, like my vomit sweater, spaghetti,
Yeah.
sweaty, confetti.
Anyway, we're talking about blood, not sweat.
Yeah, back to blood.
But yeah, he's trying to grab her foot. He makes a second grab. She kicks it off. He makes a final third grab and just like fucking clenches around her ankle. Held on like grim death.
So conveniently, we have Diggory, Polly, and now Uncle Andrew stepped into the mix. And then why not go ahead and have a whole party? We're going to take everybody onto the grabbing onto the ring and then just transporting to the wood between the worlds. And so not only we got Diggory, Polly, Jadis, Uncle Andrew, but we also have the cabbie and his horse.
This is a pretty kettle of fish. I love Polly. What did she say? While they're going to the wood between the worlds, because there's that in-between period, they hear that Uncle Andrew's along for the ride. And, I don't have that quote anymore.
Oh, yeah, or Diggory says, bother, we don't want to bring him along. My hat, what a picnic. Are you there, Polly?
Yeah. Diggory says it, my hat, what a picnic.
Yeah,
He's
or
like,
if you want to just...
oh, no, that's fine. I don't, we can have the back of
Or, like, in a sarcastic way. Like, my
Right,
hat, what a
my
picnic.
hat. Yeah. Diggory's like, fuck, we didn't mean to bring Andrew. And then when they get to the wood between the worlds, Polly's like, oh, look at all these people. This is kind of fun. It's probably a lot more fun for her to have adults along for this adventure than just being her and Diggory, who, if we remember last time, just tried to jump into a pool without making sure he knew where he was coming from.
The witch goes back to being pale and
Oh, thank God.
super bummed out. And Uncle Andrew doesn't seem to be having a good time, but Strawberry, on the other hand, is living his best life, shaking his mane, cheerful Winnie, goes over to drink some water, and the cabbie seems to be having a great time too. The only people who aren't having a great time in this wood between the world is the witch and Uncle Andrew for some
The
reason.
magicians.
Oh, yeah.
Because they remember he also had to do something and he paid dearly for it and his hair turned gray and he got sick, but then he got better. And she definitely did whatever to learn the deplorable word. I think that this place is just so pure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they both like engaged in destructive magic. So I wonder if like that makes them feel, I don't know, exposed or like,
Yeah.
they've
Also, I guess if
inhibited.
if there's another way to think about it, I guess that like Jadis always wants to conquer, and there's nothing here to conquer. Also, Andrew, I guess it doesn't really work with Andrew because he wants to know everything. He's like kind of Ravenclaw, like, but he doesn't want to do it himself. But this place, like, it would be so full of knowledge, but also it's full of nothing.
Maybe it's because like like it doesn't have a particular nature. It doesn't like the magic isn't like creative or destructive. So it's just
is.
yeah, and therefore it like has to just like be present in them. So maybe that's why they feel so sick because they just feel the gross destruction. But maybe that's also why the cabbie feels great in this mysterious magical wood place.
It's interesting that nobody feels sleepy this time.
Yeah.
And they don't forget who they are. They're like, they've got their mission. They're running on adrenaline. And right as Strawberry the horse goes to steps into a pool to get a drink of water, Polly quick thinking, she looks at Diggory and says, "Greens!" And they're touching each other, still holding hands. She grabs the horse, and the horse never got his drink. And they all find themselves slipping into darkness because somehow Uncle Andrew was still holding on to Diggory or something.
I think, yeah, he grabs onto the cabbie's other hand.
Okay.
There's enough people that's kind of like,
Yeah, it's a
hands
weird...
across the enchanted woods.
Enchanted woods. Yeah, as we were told earlier, they work like magnets. So everything that touches something that's touching a ring is going to go
Right.
along with it.
And then they go into a new place, but why is everything so dark?
Yeah, Polly's like, shouldn't we be there by now?
Did we get in the wrong pool?
Yeah, like what? Where is this?
Like,
Diggory's like, I'm
is it-
standing on something.
Is it nighttime? Do
Is
we
it-
go back to Charn?
And then the witch's voice, because she's fucking still here, says, "This is not Charn. This is an empty world. This is nothing." And it really was like nothing. No stars, dark. It didn't matter. Eyes open, eyes closed, dark. And that actually reminds me of today's sponsor, Empty Worlds. You have too many things lying around your house, or just love to play The Sims and decorate a space. Now, with the help of our sponsor, Empty Worlds, you can get your very own brand new empty world. Fill it with whatever you want or don't want, and visit it never or forever. It's the ultimate sandbox. Come in and play. The nothingness feels fine. My doom has come upon me. Oh no, she's a horrible calmness. My doom has come upon me. The witch is like, it's over. I'm in an empty world with these fucking kids. They somehow got the best of me.
Mm-hmm.
My life is over.
Yeah, they're standing on nothing. It's not grass or wood, but it's cool, and the air is cold and dry without wind. And then the cabbie says, now then, keep cool, everyone. That's what I says. No broken. Wait, I should do this like Dick Van Dyke.
That's I listened to the audiobook and he sounds like Dick Van Dyke when he does it.
Now then, keep cool, everyone. That's what I says. No broken bones, anyone? Good.
Yeah. Basically, the cabbie is like, well, we might have fallen down a big hole and we might not be dead, but we also might be dead. So we're, you've got to die sometime.
Yeah.
He says, if you ask me, I think the best thing we could do to pass the time would be to sing an hymn. He's like, if we're dead, someone's going to come get us.
Wait,
if we're alive,
Sing a what?
sing an hymn.
What's an M?
It's a song. You sing an hymn in church. You sing it. You go, oh.
I wasn't allowed to listen to singing him just because his lyrics were a bit explicit.
Sing an hymn. That'd be a great drag king name.
It's not bad. All right. There's no singing in the darkness. Interesting, though, that it's dark and he wants to sing, but, like, a lot of people will, like, sing or whistle when they're scared to, like...
Yeah. And
he doesn't seem scared.
No, he starts singing. Diggory and Polly kind of join in because they know the hymn. And during the singing, which Andrew and the witch do not partake in, Andrew tries to pull Diggory away and convince him. He's like, come on, put your He says, come on, put your ring on. But Jadis hears because she's got owl ears.
And she says,
Fool! Have you forgotten that I can hear men's thoughts? Let go the boy. If you attempt treachery, I will take such vengeance upon you as you've never heard in all the worlds from the beginning.
The cabbie goes, hush! He hushes them because something's happening. Someone else has started to sing. A voice, very far away. Diggory found it hard to decide from what direction it was coming. Sometimes from all directions at once. Sometimes he almost thought it was coming out of the earth beneath them. There were no words, there was hardly even a tune, but it was the most beautiful noise he had ever heard. The cabbie also loves the song.
the horse likes it, too.
I mean, It's reminding me of something we've read before.
Yeah, it's
Some
given
singing.
birds
It's giving
bringing
birds.
breakfast. And then two wonders happened at the same moment. And one was that the voice was suddenly joined by other voices. And instead of just giving us a non-specific number, he just says more voices than you could possibly count. I think he took our note about those.
Yeah,
like,
he heard us.
Lewis's ghost was like, okay, fine, we'll just make it super vague. But the second wonder was that the blackness overhead was literally all at once, literally blazing,
Literally all at
blazing,
once.
literally all at once blazing with stars. So not like one star coming out as they do on a gentle summer evening, but just literally like, ka-ka!
Oh, I love that.
Stars, constellations, planets, brighter and bigger than any in our world, new stars, no clouds, and then new voices all at the same time. I mean,
It's like when you go to the planetarium in the 2nd grade and you sit down and then they turn on the screen.
the planet Aaron.
Yes. And Diggory's like, the stars are singing. He doesn't say it out loud, but he's like, the stars are singing, right? The stars are singing.
Yeah, and the cabbie says, "Glory be, if I'd have been in Batman all my life, I'd known there were things like this."
Right. He's like, fuck, if I'm dead and I might be going to hell. I would have done better.
And the voice gets louder, more triumphant, and then the voices sing loudly with it and then get fainter as the horizon slowly turns to gray.
Yeah, the main voice takes back over, and the sun is like,
One big
barely starting to rise, and we kind of get to see our characters' faces. The kids and the cabbie and the horse all loving the tunes. The kids are like mouth agape. Andrew is also got his mouth open, but he looks much less happy. And the witch looked as if in a way she understood the music better than any of them. But she did not like it. Her lips shut, pressed together, her fists clenched.
She's not a fan.
Ever since the song began, she had felt that this whole world was filled with a magic different from hers and stronger. And she was scared. She didn't like it. Yeah. The horse, as we see, is just, I think, benefiting the most right now from this fresh air and the song of like growth and whatever is happening, this birth. And the music swells up to like the most glorious sound, and the sun crests over the mountains. And Diggory had never seen such a sun, because he's now seen multiple suns. The sun of Charn looks really old. He's seen our sun, Goldilocks, and now this sun, this baby sun, super bright. You can feel the warmth. You can just like tell that it's young.
Yeah, you could imagine that it laughed for joy as it came up.
Like the Teletubbies. Oh my god.
I mean, it's
It's a brand new world.
and then the beams shoot across the land, and then there's valleys and swift rivers and that flow eastwards towards the sun, southwards with mountains, northward there are hills, and then valleys of rock, earth, but no trees or bushes or grass yet.
Yeah, just dirt, earth, but it's colorful and hot, and you can tell it's like
Exciting.
potent, like the smell of fresh dirt, like good dirt. Oh, and it's just
good dirt.
everywhere. This is a terrible world, says the witch. We must fly at once. Prepare the magic. I love that. Prepare the magic.
We must prepare the magic. And then Uncle Andrew says, I quite agree with you, madam. A most disagreeable place. Completely uncivilized. If I were only a younger man and had a gun. Wait, what does he need a gun for?
'Cause now we see the singer himself. It was a lion, huge, shaggy and bright. It stood facing the risen sun. Its mouth was wide open in song, and it was about 300 yards away. This is a nice number, about 300 yards. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
See, look, he's listening. He learns. From the grave, he learns.
Dang. I know, Uncle Andrew, he's not quite Kronk, but I can't put my finger
Yeah, he's a familiar sniveling man.
Maurice, is that the Gaston's assistant?
I think so. That is, yeah.
Wait,
Like,
or maybe
attracted to him.
no, Maurice is her dad.
Um,
It doesn't
it's
matter.
gonna.
Oh, it's like LeFou or something like that. I think.
LeFou. LeFou. Yeah, exactly.
like,
Has a crush on the main bad guy. Will do anything and everything for them.
I don't understand how you can build
Is scared of
credit, but
them.
I know that. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, Andrew is LeFou. Andrew also wants to leave. Also wants to shoot the lion. And he tells Degree to get the ring out. And Jadis is like, oh, it's rings, is it? And she's like, I don't need this fucking magician. I don't need these fucking kids. I just need the rings. Duh. Okay, cool. She lunges to go get the rings, but Degree's quicker. And it's almost like a hostage situation where he grabs Polly and he has the ring. He's like, don't move.
Yeah.
Take care. If either of you come half an inch nearer, we two will vanish and you'll be left here for good. And he's like sorry to the cabbie and shit. The cabbie's like, hold your noise. I want to listen to the music.
Yeah, because the song's changed.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit. Like, we should be paying attention to this.
Yeah, the song has changed into a different chapter.
Yes, we're now in chapter 9. The founding of Narnia! Hey, 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 hey!
I'm so excited.
The lion, was pacing to and fro about that empty land and singing his new song. It was softer and more lilting than the song by which he had called up the stars and the sun. A gentle rippling music, and as he sang, the valley grew green with grass. It ran up the sides of the little hills like a wave, and after all the grass is creeping, the higher slopes grew dark with our first named plant in Narnia, heather, which we learned about, ironically, in our last book.
Is that ironic?
I mean, it's probably just,
Don't
it was
you
in
think?
his brain. He was like, yeah, heather, that was a good one.
Sure.
But if we forgot the symbolism of heather, it's commonly symbolizing good luck, admiration, and protection. It's also a symbol of resilience and endurance due to its hardiness and ability to thrive in harsh conditions, like the higher slopes of mountains and stuff. But it's wonderful that the first plant, the first flower that's on the world of Narnia is meant to symbolize good luck and protection. It's like a wonderful good omen to start. And after the grass and the heather pops up, these weird things start beetlejuicing out of the ground. And Degree's like, what the fuck
things?
is that? Trees! And right as they're kind of confused about the trees that are popping out of the ground, Uncle Andrew takes his opportunity to try and get the fucking ring, and then the argument starts up again with Jadis. And, stop! Stand back! No! If anyone goes within 10 paces, I'll knock his brains. And she's still got her piece of the iron lamppost rod.
Oh, of course.
Right. Andrew finally breaks. She's like, you're gonna leave me? You're really gonna leave me? And he's like, yes, ma'am, I would. And he gives it to her, but also not really. You've assaulted the police. You have stolen. And the cabbie again is like, stow it. Watching and listening's the thing at the present, not talking. Just like, shut up, you people. We're
Yeah.
watching a world being born.
Like buttercups and daisies are popping out, and just roses and rhododendrons, and just like it seems like the most insane, beautiful time lapse of just world creation. But
Right.
no one cares except the cabbie and Strawberry.
Yes, our first ending, our first tree is a beech tree, which is associated with femininity and is often considered the queen of British trees, where oak is the king, which I kind of like. The Mother Nature, like the first tree that's born is the queen of all trees, And daisies are purity, innocence, new beginnings. Buttercups are childishness, also new beginnings, general happiness, simplicity, friendship. And also willow trees popped up on the shore of the river is also a symbol of fertility and new life. Also a symbolic representation of sorrow and mourning.
I misspoke because Polly is also becoming more and more interested in this song because she's actually starting to pay attention to the music and the things that are happening around her. I think she actually now understands that the song is creating everything. It's not just a song that's happening while things are being created, which is what the cabbie was didn't articulate, but kind of just trying to get them to pay attention to.
I think the cabbie knew that that's what was happening as soon as he saw the sunrise, probably. Because it said the note reached a glorious peak and the sun rose. He's like, this lion is creating this world. Shut the fuck up, everybody. I'm trying to watch.
Yeah, like the person who's not recording the show on their phone, they're just watching it and enjoying it and being there. Like, that's the cabbie. He is the epitome of being present for this world creation.
And once she comes to this same realization, she is just like in awe. She's not scared of this lion. And when she comes to the realization, she kind of says it, but Diggory is still a little bit scared of the lion. The cabbie's also admittedly a little bit scared of the lion. But Andrew is quaking in his boots, mama. He is like so scared of this lion because with every turn, it kind of is zigzagging toward them. Closer and closer and closer all the time.
I think it's fair to mention that Polly is excited. Diggory and the cabbie are nervous. And then Uncle Andrew is scared. Whereas the witch is completely terrified of this lion. So, like, they're not to explain the levels of spooked, but they're the nervous. I think nervous is different than scared because Uncle Andrew, his teeth are chattering, like knees super shaky, hide behind everybody, like ha 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 ha. I'm not actually here. But the witch, in her scaredness, decides to just boldly step out to the lion and raise her arm and throws the iron bar at its head.
And it smacks the lion right between the eyes. 0 damage. You could not tell whether it even knew it had been hit. She screams and runs away. And I was like, yes, bye, bitch. Bye. Andrew tries to go and do the same, but trips on a root that's growing out of the ground, and he falls flat on his face.
The children are frozen. They're not even sure if they want to move because the lion doesn't seem to be paying attention to them.
Yeah, yet in some queer point, in some queer way, they wished it would look at them, but it couldn't even care. It couldn't care less. It is on a mission. It's doing something. It just kind of walks right past them.
Mm-hmm.
And Diggory's like, okay, we've come, we've seen, we did it. The evil lady's gone. Let us get out. Diggory's like, I thought you wanted to explore other worlds. I thought you wanted to see all the fun stuff. And he's like, yeah, maybe if I was younger and I had a gun again with the damn gun.
There's already evil in this world when it was created. Why do you need to bring a weapon into it?
Not necessary.
Guns be blowed.
Cabbie's basically like, fuck off. I'm going to go pet my horse.
Also, Diggory says, do you think that lion could even be killed by a gun? The iron bar didn't do shit.
No way.
What the fuck do you actually think you're going to do?
He doesn't really have an answer. But Polly and Diggory are distracted by something that they see a couple yards away and walk over to it. Andrew follows because he's trying to get his little grubby hands on the rings. And we see something quite curious. A perfect little model of a lamppost about 3 feet high, but lengthening and thickening in proportion as they watched it. In fact, growing just as the trees had grown. Diggory says, it's alive too. I mean, it's lit. But I think he was right the first time. It is alive. Yeah. It is growing. It's alive. And we know what this, what this lamp post turns into at some point.
What? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'll figure it out later. And Uncle Andrew just turns into his London world self, saying,
Remarkable, most remarkable. Even I never dreamt of magic like this.
Yeah, he wants to bring like pieces of battleships and cannons and whatever, grow them here, and then bring them back to London World for full price.
yeah, he's like, I'm like a magical Columbus.
You are like a fucking magical Columbus.
Yeah, Polly calls it out, saying, you're just like the witch. All you can think of is killing things.
And Andrew rambling on, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and then once he says "land of youth," something clicks in Diggory's head, and he kind of starts paying attention again. He's like, "Wait, you think that this could be the land of youth? You think that there could be something here that could save my mom?" And he's like, What? It's not a fucking drugstore. Like, what are you talking about?" And Diggory goes, "Oh, you couldn't care, fucking." I think it says 2p in my book, but in the audiobook he says tuppence. You couldn't care tuppence about her. And I wanted to cry. Because he's like, she's only your sister. Like, this is his younger sister. And he
won't even feed the birds.
yeah, tuppence.
Tuppence.
So sweet and sad little boy. And the song changes again. And it's more like what we should call a tune, but it also was far wilder. There's no music rules here in Narnia. It's whatever is coming out of the lion's head, as Polly said.
Yeah, it says it makes you want to run and jump and climb and shout and rush at other people and either hug them or fight them. So what is this, like, insane hippie mosh pit?
Yeah, it's like a fiddle mosh pit.
Yeah, everyone dancing. Oh, it's Dropkick Murphys. That's what you. Yep, there it is. There it is.
And the ground starts bubbling, described as like boiling water, kind of like the Gremlins. Also, though, I always imagine my dad witnessed an earthquake, and he explained it to me. He saw like a big open field, and it rolled like waves, like if you saw a sine wave or whatever. And that's always what I imagine when I read this, even though it's described as boiling water, which is even worse. But also, I just can't really visualize that, but I can visualize the earthquake one.
Well, if you think about plate tectonics, the plates underneath the ground, when they're pushed up against each other, it creates a sort of force that, personally, I could see it just going straight up, but it makes sense because of the gravity in the Lularian tides that it might just create a ripple effect.
Science is fucking cool.
And out of these bubbling ground bubbles came animals, the first of which were moles, and then dogs, stags, frogs, and big cats, birds, butterflies, bees, and the biggest humping elephant. You got your wish for free. Yeah! Elephants in Narnia. Oh, and now you could hardly hear the song of the lion, because there was cawing and cooing and crowing and braying and neighing and baying and barking and lowing and bleating and trumpeting. That was a good one. I love that moles were the first, because we keep having these secondary mole references with lily gloves and the orchard and all these things, but to learn that moles were the first animal to pop out of the ground in Narnia, I love. Also that they popped out of the ground and they live in the ground.
Yeah.
They symbolize intuition, persistence, and inner vision. It's almost like they were maybe already there. They were laying the groundwork, seeing beyond the surface, diving deeper to find truth. Dogs are seen as symbols of fertility and luck. And the stag, I thought this one was kind of interesting. The stag is a messenger and a gateway between this world and the next, and a symbol of spiritual journeying. And I thought that this was interesting, New World, blah, 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 but especially because they were described as the most queer of the animals when they came up, because the kids weren't really sure what they were looking at. And I'm like, it is like a spiritual journey. You're never sure of the point of the lesson until you learn the lesson. They're like, what am I looking at? Is it a tree? Is it a thing? Like, just don't guess. Just ride the wave. You're watching, you're waiting, you're listening.
But does that count as a queer point?
Oh yes, it is queer. It is the second queer point.
Excellent. Uncle Andrew is a bitch.
Oh my god. He like sucked, and then he got worse and worse because he just got like sniveling and Peter Pettigrew, and then now he's just all ugh. Ugh. He turns into the worst version of himself here.
He is
in this
terrible.
world.
Yeah, no, that was just a fun point to, in case nobody else had said it in a while. So Diggory can no longer hear the lion, but he can see it because it's so big and bright that you can't take your eyes off of it, and all the animals aren't afraid or spooked whatsoever.
A glowing lion that animals aren't afraid of. I think we heard this in the last book.
And then
he really is just like popping things over.
I mean, he's probably. I picture him with kind of that like, It's Always Sunny Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah,
board.
he's like, I need this story in here, but I'm also not finished with the last one. So like, we're gonna fill it.
And then we're gonna use this story. But now for the first time, the lion is quiet. Lion song quiet.
And all of the other animals are silent.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time since the song started, yeah, it's
For the first time since the song started, everybody shut the fuck up. And then he goes up to all the animals and he touches his nose with them. Just a little.
2 at a time. Always 2 at a time.
Mm-hmm. With the beavers and the leopards and the. Wait, did you already list all these?
No.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty much, it's just.
Yeah, I love that he starts with the beavers too.
Mm-hmm.
That's another sweet mention because we love beavers in this family.
Yeah, it says that some sorts of animals he passed over altogether, but the pairs of animals he touched instantly left their own kinds and went to follow him. And then he stood, and all the creatures who he had touched came and stood in a wide circle around him, and then the others just kind of fucked off.
Yeah, they disperse.
Mm-hmm. The chosen beasts were the ones who were in the circle, and they were totally silent, staring at the lion, and the cat-like ones with the occasional twitch of the tail. But otherwise, it's like the circle of life, literally in a circle.
Yeah, and they're waiting for something.
Probably the loudest thing happening is Diggory's heart beating while watching this.
Yeah, and the lion, who has never blinked apparently, just stares at the animals so hard as if he was going to burn them up. And they start to change. The smaller ones, rabbits and moles, grew a good deal larger. And the big ones, you mostly noticed it with the elephants, grew a little smaller. And some of them sat up on their hind legs. Most of them put their heads on one side as if they're really trying to understand what's happening, as if he's speaking to them. And then the lion opens his mouth, but no sound came from it. He gives a long, warm lion breath. And the beasts all sway, kind of like a wind in the trees. And the stars start singing again, which I didn't really remember happened. I was like, wait, a reprise? And then there came a swift flash like fire, but it burnt nobody, either from the sky or from the lion itself. Nobody knows. And every drop of blood tingled in the children's bodies, and the deepest, wildest voice they had ever heard was saying,
Narnia, 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 awake, love, think, speak, be walking trees, be talking beasts, be divine waters.
B. Chapter 10. The
First joke and other matters.
It was Of course. Even Sluis says of course here, so
Of course.
yes. Of course,
Of
we
course.
finally vindicated. It was, of course, the lion's voice. And the kids kind of always thought that the lion could speak, looking at it. It was singing after all. But now we get confirmation that this lion can speak. And out of the trees, we get to see the forest nymphs, gods and goddesses of the woods, with them the fauns and satyrs and dwarves. Out of the river god with his naiad daughters. All of these and all of the different talking beasts replied to Aslan.
Hail, Aslan! We hear and obey. We are awake. We love. We think. We speak. We know.
There's another voice that speaks beside the children. But please, we don't know very much yet. And it's the cab horse. Strawberry, Strawberry got the chosen.
Polly and I are both glad that Strawberry was chosen to be a talking beast.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we all? This is a wonderful creature. This is a creature I remember with all of my heart and soul and love very much. And we will shortly see why.
Yeah, I mean, I may be a cherry girl, but my heart is in the shape of a sweet, sweet strawberry.
Creatures, I give you yourselves. I give you forever this land of Narnia. I give you the woods, the fruit, the rivers. I give you the stars, and I give you myself. The dumb beasts who I have not chosen are yours as well. Treat them gently and cherish them, but do not go back to their ways, lest you cease to be talking beasts. For out of them you were taken, and into them you can return. Do not so.
And everybody's like, hell
No,
no,
Aslan, we
we're not
won't,
doing
we
it.
won't,
No
we
fear,
won't.
no fear, bitch.
Well, then no fear at the end. Oh, poor Jackdaw. They're all saying the same thing. Like they've got one brain. No, Aslan, we won't.
Yeah, and he says, laugh and fear not, creatures. Now that you are no longer dumb and witless, you need not always be grave, for jokes as well as justice come in with speech.
And they all kind of laugh at this Jackdaw who made the first awkward kind of interaction of Narnia. But he doesn't really mind because he's like, I made the first joke. Will everybody be told how I made the first joke? I'm the best comedian.
And Aslan says, you have not made the first joke, you have only been the first joke.
And everybody starts laughing harder and louder because he didn't understand. But the Jackdaw doesn't seem to mind as long as there's laughter. And the Jackdaw is a totem animal and associated with protection and gratitude. So the gratitude, he's grateful to be alive. They're corvids, so like a crow, but they do remember human faces. So don't do a Jackdaw dirty because they will
smart.
remember.
Yeah, I think they're like magpies. You don't fuck with them.
The Jackdaw was considered sacred in Welsh folklore as it nested in church steeples. It was shunned by the devil because of its choice of residence. So if you want to have the Christian allegory of Narnia, this Jackdaw was, shunned by the devil, lived in the house of God.
They're pretty cute.
Yeah, they're cute little crowy, little corvid with the sweet eyes.
Like their little
Yeah, sweet scrunchy
faces.
face.
Like a pug. Aslan hits him with a,
And now Narnia is established. We must next take thought for keeping it safe. I will call some of you to my council. Come hither to me, you the chief dwarf, and you the river god, and you oak, and the he-owl, and both the ravens and the bull elephant. We must talk together, for the world is not 5 hours old, and evil has already entered it.
Evil. What did he say? An evil? What's an evil? No, he didn't say Neville. He said weevil.
It was a navel.
Well, no, he said weevil.
What did you say with the
He
weevil?
said a navel.
No, it's a navel. But
What is that? They don't understand what evil is, but the ones that he chose go to him. And like I said earlier, the oak is the king of the trees, so he gets chosen to go be on the council, as well as he makes the chosen dwarf the chief dwarf, I guess. You, the chief dwarf. How does he know who the chief is? Unless he just picks it. But regardless.
I feel like this is a day for making bold decisions.
Yeah. And the ceremony is now over. Diggory's, he feels it. The energy has shifted. The song's done. The officers were chosen. Like, we're ready to go. He's like, all right, I need to go speak with him and see if he knows anywhere I can get something to help my mom. Bye.
Wait a minute. Where's Uncle Andrew?
Oh, he's still there. Not too close to them because he doesn't want them to disappear, but also he doesn't want to follow too close because they're actively going toward the lion and he doesn't want to go toward the lion. So he's like probably slowly getting further and further from them as he's following them. But he's like, I'm there. I could maybe snag one of those rings. Like, you're not getting the ring, dude. Give up. He walks up to the group of talking beasts, the ones that are not chosen for the council yet. And the animals are quite confused.
Yeah, like, what are these? Some kind of large lettuce?
Yeah, the rabbit's like, they're large lettuce, I think.
Who ever heard of a talking lettuce?
Perhaps the second joke, the jackdaw's like, it's a joking time, it's jokes. The cabbie tries to talk to Strawberry. He's been like trying to make eye contact with somebody who doesn't want to talk to you. He's like, hey, you know me, Strawberry. And it's like all his new cool friends. They're like, are these your friends?
Do you know these like large talking lettuce
You know these lettuce?
And do you know who the fuck is this lettuce? This lettuce says they know you, but there's no lettuce on the list.
Yeah. And he's like, I've sort of seen something like this. Like, I feel like I lived somewhere else, or like I was something else before Aslan woke us all up a few minutes ago. It's all very muddled, like a dream. But there were things like these, 3 in the dream.
And Gabby's like, you don't remember me bringing you hot mash every evening, rubbing you down, never forgetting to put cloth on you when it was cold. We were BFFs.
Yeah, he's like, I wouldn't have thought you were like this, Strawberry. The cabbie is trying to get the horse to remember him. The horse remembers mostly the bad stuff, the cold weather, and has to be reminded of the good parts of his past life, but does end up remembering, and grants Diggory the pleasure of riding on him to go get to Aslan quicker, because this mission is very important to Diggory, and Strawberry allows it.
We get our third queer point when Uncle Andrew is referred to over by the river near some trees. Kind of just, I don't know, I guess hiding, hoping he won't be noticed. And then, yeah.
And after the bulldog points out Uncle Andrew, all the animals look over, and he is trying to stand very still,
making no noise.
Right, pretending he doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. But all the voices, they're curious. They're brand new. They're babies, but also like Athena, they're full grown. So they're like, let's go find out, and run over to find out if this being over by the river is indeed one of the same type of creature as the talking lettuce or not, while Strawberry trots over in the other direction while Polly and Cabby follow on foot towards our boy Aslan.
Mm-hmm. But Sluis asks us to pause and go back a bit and kind of explain the whole scene from Uncle Andrew's point of view, because he had not seen what the cabbie and the children had seen. He had just been shrinking further back into the thicket because everything happening around him was just horrifying.
Right. He had a completely different experience of watching Narnia being born than the kids, because he saw the lion and instantly knew that the lion was the one singing. And
he didn't like it. Did not.
So he gaslit himself into believing that the lion was not singing. There's no way, because lions don't sing. It's only roaring.
Yeah.
It's only roaring. No, you're wrong. Lewis steps aside from his step aside to say that more often than not, when you try to convince yourself of something like that, you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
And Uncle Andrew does. So from that moment on, he only hears roaring and cawing and cooing and braying and neighing. He doesn't hear any of the voices of the animals.
He just hears a horrid, bloodthirsty din of hungry and angry brutes he had never heard of in his life. And then, to his utter rage and horror, he saw the other 3 humans actually walking out into the open to meet the other animals. The fools!
Yeah, he's like, they're gonna get eaten, and the rings are gonna get eaten, and I'm never gonna get home.
Yeah.
Selfish little boy.
What the fuck are y'all doing walking over? Oh, great. And now...
And now they're running at me. And now they're running at me.
Cool. Great. Amazing.
So he starts to run.
Naturally.
As we know, the Narnian air is really, really good for people. And this is like, oh, you know, when you open that can of root beer and it's like the best, crispest, freshest root beer? This is that. He is feeling fresh because he ran faster. He would have won the 100 yards race at any prep school in England. I'm like, against children? Like, yep. I mean, that's not as impressive, but okay. And
Kids are fast, man.
animals are faster,
Fair enough.
and they catch up to him. After him, after him. Perhaps he's that Neville. They get behind him, get in front of him. Elks, elephant, bears, boars, leopards, panthers. Like, he's done for in his mind, but they're just kind of interested. They're like, what are you?
Yeah, bitch, what are you? Shout out to the cool-looking leopards and panthers with sarcastic faces.
You love a sarcastic panther. And the bulldog seems to be the leader of this troop of animals. We get I just blanked on the name. I know it's Pirates of Penzance, but
I'm not gonna help you.
I
I can't. I legally cannot. You know I can't tell you. I can sing the song.
Well, I know it's Modern Major General.
That's the song for the end. I am the very model of a modern major general. I information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and the quote of fact historical for Marathon to Waterloo and orders categorical. I'm very well acquainted with the matters mathematical. I understand the equations both the simple and quadratical. About the noble theorem, I am teeming with a lot of news, with many cheerful facts about the square and the hypotenuse. I mean, honestly, though.
We get, yes, the bulldog asks Andrew, are you animal, vegetable, or mineral? But all Uncle Andrew heard was Chapter 11. Diggory
and his uncle are both in trouble.
Lewis starts his chapter as an aside, being like, you may think the animals are very stupid. And I'm like, no, I understand exactly what's happening.
Yeah, we were there with you.
Yeah, the cat, they all wear different clothes. Like, and so they don't know what clothes are. They think that it's a different being because he's wearing a suit and they don't have suits.
Why is he dropping the ball right now?
I
Like
don't know.
what? No, this whole fucking section. Like, it's just stupid. We're here with you. We don't need like. It's like the way he writes. It's as if we're like it's a screenplay, but there's no visuals. It's only words.
Which it does make me want. We didn't watch much of it, but it does make me want to watch the BBC television series of Narnia because they go through, I think, all of it. They might go through all of it. I know they go through Silverchair at least. So it would seem stupid if they didn't do all of it. It could be good because, yeah, like you said, a lot of it is written it's very dialogue heavy, very screenplay-able. Just kind of do this and it's fine.
I assumed at first it would be a screenplay, but that seems silly and is probably more likely for a stage play, which, how different are they really? Andrew faints.
They think he's a tree, and then he faints, and they think he's like a dead tree.
He's a talking dog, or yeah.
Yeah, they're like, well, no, I think he was trying to talk. It's like, but I didn't hear any words. And the elephant, ooh, the elephant, she says, and yet, it might be an animal of some kind. Mightn't the whitish lump at its end be a sort of face? And couldn't those holes be eyes and a mouth? Yes, she's very smart, and she thinks that this tree animal should be watered.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, it needs to be planted and watered.
I kind of want to do the donkey, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what. Perhaps it's an animal that can't talk but thinks it can.
I don't know what that was.
I like
no
it. It was
idea.
good.
It doesn't make any sense.
The elephant, stands up Andrew and
Gives him a ankle grab and a shiki.
shiki.
And what falls out?
2 half-sovereigns, 3 half-crowns, and a sixpence fell out of his pocket. But it was no use. Uncle Andrew merely collapsed again. There, it isn't an animal at all. It's not alive.
I tell you, it is an animal. Smell it for yourself.
Smelling isn't everything.
Why, if a fellow can trust his nose, what is he to trust?
Well, his brain, perhaps. Dang, the elephant is killing the bulldog.
But like an elephant.
Yeah. The elephant's like, okay, well, regardless of what it is, we need to show it to Aslan because it might be the Nevil. Like, we don't know what it is. We can't even decide. Is it an animal or a tree?
Tree!
A tree! A tree! A witch! A witch!
A tree! It turned me into a root.
A root! And we transition from the bulldog being in charge to the she-elephant being in charge. And she goes, well, if it's a tree, it's got to be planted. We must dig a hole. She gets the moles to dig a hole. They bury Uncle Andrew. Luckily, they bury him right side up. There was a discussion about it, but Jesus Christ, I'm glad they didn't bury him head side in the ground. And yeah, she thinks he needs some watering. So she goes over to the river and gets some water and waters him about 12 times probably.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was another mole mention, though.
yeah, the moles, another secondary mole. The moles go about their business and dig his hole real quick. No names. We only ever get that one mole.
Anyway, I guess the water was enough that it had been like he had a bath with all of his clothes on, so it kind of wakes him up from his faint.
I'm washing me in my clothes.
Just getting all nice and muddy.
And we get to now cut back to more important things regarding Strawberry and Diggory, because the group is just now dying away when they approach the group of counselors. So Diggory knew that he wasn't going to be able to interrupt the meeting, but there was no need to do so. So
I've got a really good voice for Diggory right here.
he slips off the horse, finds himself face to face with Aslan. And now that he's off the horse, Aslan is much bigger and much more beautiful and brightly golden and more terrible than he had thought. He couldn't even look into his eyes, but he asked him,
Please, Mr. Aslan, sir, will you give me some magic fruit of this country to make my mother well?
Aslan claps back with... Just no, bitch.
he doesn't say, he doesn't say yes, and he doesn't say no, but he does say something.
This is the boy. This is the boy who did it.
And he's not looking at Diggory, he's looking at his group of counselors.
Son of Adam, there is an evil witch abroad in my new land of Narnia. Tell these good beasts how she came here.
I brought her here, Aslan.
For what purpose?
I wanted to get her out of my own world and back to her, into her own. I thought I was taking her back to her own place.
How came she to be in your world, son of Adam?
By magic. And the lion, Aslan, he does his great silent thing where he's like, oh, and
Yes, bitch.
And it was my uncle, Aslan. He sent us out of our own world by magic rings. At least I had to go because he sent Polly first, and then we met the witch in a place called Charn, and she just held on us when...
You met the witch.
she woke up and... I woke her because I wanted to know what would happen if I struck a bell. Polly didn't want to. It wasn't her fault. I fought her. I know I shouldn't have. I think I was a bit enchanted by the writing under the bell.
Do you?
No, I see now I wasn't. I was only pretending. I was so mad at him earlier, but
Yeah.
now I still just feel bad for him because he's like 9.
He thinks he spoiled everything.
Yeah, he says, I've spoiled everything. There's no chance of getting anything from Mother now. He doesn't think that this line is going to do him any favors because he brought evil into this brand new world.
Now we finally get a little gem of a droplet of a Easter egg of a prophecy as to why the Pevensey children come to Narnia.
You see, friends, that before the new clean world I gave you is 7 hours old, a force of evil has already entered it, waked and brought hither by this son of Adam. But do not be cast down. Evil will come of that evil, but it is still a long way off, and I will see to it that the worst falls upon myself. In the meantime, let us take such order that for many 100 years, yet this shall be a merry land and a merry world. And as Adam's race has done the harm, Adam's race shall help to heal it. Draw near, you other two.
Ooh.
All right, there we
So-
go. There's our egg.
Yeah, evil will come of that evil. That evil being Jadis, the Empress of Charn, also causes some evil that will have to be healed by Adam's race, who, as we know, is a prophecy, a mention of a whisper of a prophecy that is prophesized for the four.
And
Heaven sees.
Yeah, he doesn't say. I guess he doesn't really say four here, but
He doesn't.
yeah.
He doesn't say who, but
It's like, well, you goofed, so somebody else will have to fix it. But I don't know. It's doesn't he seems to just be like, let's put a pin in this, and then
we're
he
gonna punt that down the hill, and we're gonna deal with it in a couple 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fine.
and then Polly and the cabbie approach, and Aslan says to the cabbie, or asks the cabbie, like,
Son, I have known you long. Do you know me?
Well, no, sir. Leastways, not in an ordinary manner of speaking. Yet I feel somehow, if I may be so free, as we've met before.
It is well. You know better than you think you know, and you shall live to know me better yet. How does this land please you?
It's a fair treat, sir.
Would you like to live here always?
Well, you see, sir, I'm a married man. If my wife was here, neither of us would ever want to go back to London, I reckon. We're both country folks, really.
and then Aslan throws up his head, and there's a shake of the mane, opens his mouth, and with one singular roar,
Not very loud, but full of power. We get jumped into Polly's head. She felt sure it was a call by Regina Spektor that anyone who heard it would have to obey and be able to obey and cross many worlds and ages and anything to obey that call. And wasn't really surprised when a young woman with a kind, honest face stepped out of nowhere and stood beside her. And this is much neater, much nicer magic than the rings with their jump to the world between the wood between the worlds and then to wherever they're going. This is you're here now.
yeah, she disappears as if she'd been in the middle of washing dishes, wearing an apron with her sleeves rolled up and soap
Yeah,
suds. and
there's still bubbles on her.
yeah, just instantly there, and she doesn't seem frightened, and she drops into
She
a little.
thinks she's dreaming.
Yeah, she just drops into a little half curtsy, and
And then she just kind of slowly walks over to her husband and holds his hand and looks around shyly as Aslan announces that
My children, you are to be the first king and queen of Narnia.
he is just giving titles out left and right. Chief Dwarf, you are this person. She is the evil of the world. Your people are going to fix this problem. Here we go. King and Queen of Narnia. The cabbie's like, what? What? He's like, you're going to rule all the creatures and do justice and protect them from their enemies, which there's already enemies. There's an evil witch. So have fun with that. And he's like, I don't think you have the right guy. Like, I don't really have an education, you see. This is basically Aslan asking him if he's King Loon. Like, do you have these qualities? Can you make food? Can you rule the creatures and be kind and remember that they're beings, that they're not just animals? He's like, yeah, I can do that. And he's going to teach his children to do the same, and to never have favorites among his children, so he could never abide such goings on, and that's the truth. And he would never, no bad times. Everybody, cool guy.
But Cabby is just the same as Jill, as a lot of other characters, where they're just like, you've got the wrong person. And that's, as those of us who paid attention know, that that's exactly what Aslan wants to hear. When Prince Caspian says, I don't think I'm meant to do this, when Shasta says, I don't want to be king, when Kor says, I don't want to be king, oh, I just don't want to be king, that's exactly how you unfortunately
become
earn
king
it.
of Narnia.
Yeah, so
he goes, well, yeah, that was the final test, so you passed.
Mm-hmm.
And they passed. He says, your coronation will be held presently, and you and your children and grandchildren shall be blessed, and some will be kings of Narnia, and others will be kings of Archenland, which lies yonder over the southern mountains. And you, little daughter, he turns to Polly, are welcome. Have you forgiven the boy for the violence he did to you in the Hall of Images, in the desolate palace of accursed charm? She says yes, and Aslan goes, okay. And now for the boy himself. Oh my god, this is kind of feeling like Rapidash, like his justice is coming.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we learn here that Archenland is just as old as Narnia. So when I did the origins and thought it could be Archen, Archaean, old, beginning, early land, the beginning land, it is here in the beginning. Archenland is just as old as Narnia is, which I love that it's not some sort of place that was just colonized by Narnians.
I also can't believe we made it through that whole episode and never once did like a Archenland, like Queen Ocean Man. In the Christian mythology of world creation, we know that man is responsible for all the fuckery, or at least, we are told that humans are given everything and then they goof. But in our version, things are just goofed. But in this version, there's actually a chance for redemption, which I think is the cool difference between the two. Also, the cabbie is responsive to Aslan's call. His wife, the fact that she gets there so quickly makes me think that like she probably is also receptive, because it doesn't seem to take a lot of time.
Yeah, there's no prick on her elbow. Ow, what's that? Is it magic? What's happening? Now we're in Narnia. It was, I'm scrubbing a plate. I put it down. I went to reach and grab the next plate, and she's in Narnia.
Yeah.
Also, though, this is very potent Aslan. Like, this is young Aslan, young Narnia. His magic is powerful and like boom, bang, bop. So maybe when he calls people, it is instantaneous. Because when he calls the Pevensies, it's the Narnian year, like 1000 or whatever. Not to say that Aslan's magic depreciates over time, but he does start to like spread it around and do a lot more stuff, versus this is, he just created the world, now he's not doing anything actively. So he's just gonna like, to call a person from another world is easy peasy compared to what he was just doing.
Yeah. Or maybe the magic is spread out, laying dormant, but on the sixth day is when animals and living creatures were created. So
Okay.
humans being created in the image of God, and then the heavens and the earth were finished, and then that
The seventh day
was just
rest.
resting. Yeah.
Right, because he's like, now we're gonna have a good time. So not 7 hours old. There's evil. Animals are created.
But sorry, it was just he does say or he talks about like bringing forth all the creatures and mentions like being fruitful, multiplying, and the planting seeds and yielding the earth, and pretty much everything. Aslan was just double checking.
The requirements for being the king in Narnia are the same steps, like to create the world, or what was told to the beings. After all that bibble, we go on to chapter 12.
Strawberries Adventure!
Diggory is fucking scared. He's about to shit his pants.
Yeah, being addressed by, I can only imagine what it's like to be addressed by Aslan in this context, because in this context, it's not Aslan in the woods with Lucy. It's not even like Aslan coming to speak to Aravis, like this.
Or Eustace. Or
Yeah,
anything.
like this is you got goofs.
You brought evil into my world.
Mm-hmm.
I just fucking made it.
But he's just instead of giving him too much guff, he's just like, "Are you ready to undo the shit that you did?"
On my sweet country of Narnia, on the very day of its birth.
And he tries to. He's like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do because the queen ran away. And
I asked, "Are you ready?"
Yes.
He thinks of saying, "I'll try and help you if you'll promise to help me about my mother," but you can't make bargains with Aslan. No. Rapidash learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm. But you can ask for help. And he says, please, can't you give me something that will cure my mother? And I think this is a good example of the First Testament Aslan, which is probably more attuned to what we'd be getting in this particular time, whereas the Aslan with Lucy and the Pevensies, that would be more like New Testament
Especially
Aslan.
post middle Lion Witch.
Yeah.
Post Stone Table.
Yeah, and also like I understand he's frustrated. He's like, I just made this world.
Yes.
And you've already brought evil into it.
I was trying to make a sweet, fun, sweet baby place. Mm-hmm. I was trying to make the Teletubbies world, and you brought the fucking devil.
Mm-hmm. And this is a really good example of how you don't really know what other people are dealing with, and especially when it comes to kids, like you don't know the extenuating circumstances that created this behavior or the situations they find themselves in. And Aslan's heart softens hearing this, and you can see a great tear in the lion's eye.
Yeah, also I think that the story, it breaks his heart, and also the courage that this boy feels to ask him that, and he looks Aslan in the face for the first time. He's been too afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks up and he looks him in the eye asking, can't you give me something? And sees that he's crying. He's feeling what Diggory is feeling, and he is feeling that sorrow. And he felt as if the lion must really be sorrier about his mother than he was himself.
My son, I know. Grief is great. Only you and I in this land know that yet. Let us be good to one another. Aslan, I know. And that's the thing is, I like that Aslan validates that, in that only he can understand why and how Diggory could be that desperate and have that courage of desperation, that like Herculean type strength, a mother has to like lift a car away from their baby, because he understands. But he also is thinking about the hundreds of years that are of life in Narnia that are going to happen, and like how the witch is going to impact them. And
yeah, he knows that this witch is going to be around for a while.
This fucking witch.
And we also know that this witch is going to be around for a while.
Mm.
So he is like, I can't just give you what you want. Like, I need you to do something for me. I want to plant a tree, and it'll protect Narnia from her for many, many years. But you have to go get me the seed for that tree to be planted. And Diggory has no option, just like the rings at the beginning. Like, there's no option. You just have to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. But
And
he feels sure he can do it. He doesn't. I mean, it's
if Aslan is asking you to do something, He's not going to give you a task that you can't complete.
Yeah, he doesn't know how he's going to do it, but he knows that he can do it. And that strength and courage that Aslan gives him makes him feel like a brand new boy.
Because Aslan stoops his head and give him a lion kiss. He gives him the kiss on the forehead, the blessing, and he feels the courage of the lion.
This episode is sponsored by Lion's Kiss Energy Drink.
Wow, Lion's Kiss! Rock and roll!
Do you need a high-packed power punch? Do you need that energy that lasts all day?
Get beyond that cliff, get up those green hills, beyond them high ranges. Lion's Kiss!
Give yourself a rip of energy that can only be described as magical.
Lion's Kiss is not safe for anyone to consume, whether they're human or a lion. Lion's Kiss does not contain real lion. Why would that happen? Aslan tells him to turn around west and's like, what do you see? And he's like, big-ass mountains, rivers,
Yeah, he says,
waterfall.
go to there. And then far, far away, like a picture of the Alps. And behind those, there's nothing but sky.
And then a little bit farther, you're going to find a mountain of ice. And then at the end of the mountain of ice, there's going to be a lake and a steep green hill. And then on top of that hill, there's a garden. And in the center, oh no. And in the center of that garden is a tree. And you must pluck an apple from that tree and bring it back to me.
Okay, so we already know that Narnia is flat, right? And so this is just 100%. He said a green valley, blue lake, walled round by mountains of ice. We've got a fucking ice wall. We've got a flat earth. I think that Sluis was the original flat earther.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, not the original, because we used to think the earth was flat way back in the day. And that's kind of, people are like, oh, well, we used to think that the earth was flat. And we used to be way smarter because we had access to technologies that we don't understand, because look at the pyramids and look at all this other stuff. So we must have known more things back then. I'm not a flat earther. I just find it interesting. So that's why I like flat Narnia.
Mm-hmm. He does say that once they reach the top of the cliff, they'll be out of Narnia into the western wild. Into the western wild.
Degree says, yes, sir. Like, he has no option. But he says, I hope you're not in a hurry. I can't get back. I can't get there and back very quickly.
Oh, little son of Adam, you shall have help.
He turns to the horse, who had been standing quietly beside them all this time, swishing his tail and listening to the conversation. Aslan asks the horse, my dear, would you like to be a winged horse?
Yes?
I'm like, of course. And he's like, if you wish. I mean, if you really mean. I mean, I don't know why it should be me. I'm not a very clever horse.
Be winged. Be the father of all flying horses. Your name is Fledge.
Fledge the horse.
And then he just kind of magically grows wings.
Yep, he rears back, strains his neck, and then papa.
He grows wings that are larger than an eagle, that are larger than a swan. They are larger than an angel's wings.
The feathers shone, the chestnut color, copper color, sweep the air. 20 feet above,
circling around.
Then he dropped to the earth, all four hoofs together, looking extremely pleased.
Is it good?
Is it good? It is very good, Aslan.
Oh my
God. Now, Fledge is like, got a quest. He's like, I have to carry him right now? Like, all right, fucking fine. At least I get to fly. Like, let's go. We've got a long, long time to go. And I used to have things long ago in a past life. So I'm fine with it.
As long as the elephant doesn't want to come.
Yeah. Aslan turns to Polly and the cabbie's wife and says, what are the two daughters of Eve whispering about? Because they're over there and making friends, kikiing. Queen Helen, because that's her name now, thinks that the little girl would love to go too if it weren't no trouble. Fledge is like, yeah, that's fine. Like, let's just go though. I'm ready. So let's go. Aslan warns them not to fly too high, Icarus. And don't try to go over the tops of the great ice mountains. Just go through the valleys. There's some green places through those. There's always going to be a way through. And now, be gone with my blessing. And now they fly, fly away, flying through the mountains, fly away. It's like a huge pigeon he's described as the next moment.
Dude, this thing was like a huge fucking pigeon just fucking circled in, like once or twice, and then it just fucking took off like long ass on the western winds.
They could already see over the tops of the low hills, and Polly's like, that'll be Archenland. But they look ahead and they see the great cliffs, and they do some zigzagging to and fro, getting higher at each turn. And they look back now to see the whole valley of Narnia like stretched out. They just see like everything. We love a good viewpoint. And they see the mountains and Narnia, the eastern horizon.
The northern mole.
And Diggory's like, I wish we had a tour guide. Like, I want to know what these places are. To which Polly says,
I don't suppose they're anywhere yet. I mean, there's no one there and nothing happening. The world only began today.
but he already named Archenland. Like, there's already... Aslan has a plan. Don't you worry about that, Polly. Aslan has a plan for what is happening and what is named what. They go over the Narnian mountains and flying over the wild country. Big old more mountains loomed ahead. And as the sun goes down, it starts to get colder, as
Classic.
it does when it gets dark anywhere you are, usually, unless it's Florida. And Fledge is getting a little tired. So they just need to spend the night somewhere because they can't get to this garden in a lake in one day. You can't. What's the phrase?
Rome wasn't built in a
Yeah,
day.
maybe that's what it is, but it's not really how I want it. So whatever.
Yeah.
But they shan't meet that place. They shan't reach that place tonight. So Fledge is like, let's see. It's time to eat. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. They come down and it's a little warmer down there. And they find a little river on a stony bed. Warm smell of sun-baked earth and grass and flowers, like the freshest spring day, because it's the first spring day.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, there get to stretch. It's like the worst plane ride ever. You can't move lest you fall off of a horse into the sky.
Challenge accepted. Yeah, and they're all fucking hungry. And Fledge is like, yeah, tuck in.
Eat the grass.
There's plenty enough for all of us.
Lewis loves this fucking conversation between horses and humans, where the horse is like, just eat the grass.
But
Like,
we
they-
can't eat the grass.
I'm not a horse. I'm not a horse.
Well, I do think someone might have arranged about our meals.
He's like, Aslan probably would have if you'd asked him.
Like, wouldn't, like, what is
Yeah, Polly's like, well, wouldn't he know that without being asked? And the horse says, yeah, probably, but I think he just likes being asked. Like, he's not just going to give you shit for free. You have to ask for the things that you need.
Yeah, chicken or fish, Polly, come on.
Unless you want to eat grass. It might taste better than you think. It's really, really fresh. Polly's got some toffee. She's got a little leftover toffee in her pocket, so...
Yeah, but one of those bags of toffee where the paper bag is squished and sticky, so you kind of have to, like, rip the paper off of the toffee, but, who cares? Like,
Yeah,
really.
she also had to be quite careful getting the toffee out because it was in the same pocket as her ring, and you don't want to accidentally go back to the fucking wood between the worlds because you never know where you're going to end up in Narnia. You might still arrive in the same spot, but you're not catching up back up.
They count the toffees, and there's 9 of them, and Diggory has the genius idea based on the math of the lamppost turning into a light tree that a piece of toffee might turn into a toffee tree. And I am so here for this Willy Wonka logic. Like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so they split 4 and 4 for each kid, and they bury the 9th, hoping that the magic is still pulsing through the land and it will grow into a toffee tree. And lay against Sledge's warm horse body and look at the stars, and then they hear something. Just as they start to get sleepy, they're falling asleep. And then Polly sits up wide awake, says, "Hush!" And they all listen because Polly heard a rustling. But maybe it was just a wind in the trees. Fledge is not so sure, and I would hope that a horse would know if there's something in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, there it goes again, by Aslan. It is something. Oh my god, I'm scared. I didn't know this was a horror story. They're at night, 2 kids and a horse in a brand new world. There's evil afoot. The horse is like, I'm getting out of here. He scrambles up, sniffing around. The children are looking around behind every bush and tree. I wouldn't be looking, I would be flying away.
Polly's perfectly certain she had seen a tall, dark figure gliding along in a westernly direction.
Yeah, they kept on thinking they saw things, but they never caught anything in the end. Fledge is like, okay, let's just lay down. The children re-snuggled under his wings, and they fell asleep at once. But Fledge stayed awake, moving his ears and listening out. Like, he tried to stay up, but ended up falling asleep. But he did look out for them for a while, and it was really sweet, but really scary. That's really scary. It's giving Sorcerer's Stone in the Forbidden Forest when that shadowy cloaked figure is just like
sucking up on unicorns.
Yeah, moving around, being all spooky and evil. But they all wake up safe and sound in chapter 13. An unexpected meeting. Polly wakes up first because she's ready to go, ready to go. She says, "Wake up, Diggory, wake up, Fledge. It has turned into a toffee tree." Yes. And it's the loveliest morning. It's the second morning of Narnia, the first real day. And the morning dew, it's just like, oh, the Technicolor. Again,
what a beautiful morning.
We've talked about it. There's this beautiful toffee tree, little dark wooded tree, size of an apple tree. How many times am I going to say tree? Jesus.
It's been a lot.
The leaves were whitish and rather papery, like an herb called honesty, and it was loaded with brown fruits that rather looked like dates.
Yeah, it says that they were delicious and they tasted not exactly like toffee, but the fruit reminded you of toffee, and it sounds pretty good. Better than grass, for sure.
Yes. Let's talk about the symbolism of the honesty plant real quick. Of course, it represents honesty and sincerity. The leaves look like a honesty plant of this toffee tree. But in witchcraft, the honesty plant is considered protective, being thought to keep away monsters. So they're lying underneath this protective tree when there's spookies out. But they're protected by the toffee tree that they planted. So it's like double, triple smart that they planted this tree. Lewis loves to throw the most fun little plant origin, like plant meaning Easter eggs in the simplest places, like the Aslan. I'll always remember that, the mountain ash tree. We have a mountain ash tree in our backyard, so I think there might be a fey trap back there.
Fledge tries the toffee fruits and he likes them, but he kind of feels more like grass at that hour of the morning. And then they get back on his back with a little bit of difficulty, but the journey today is much better because everybody's feeling fresh and, the new sunrise and everything. Having the sun at your back is much better than having it right in your face.
Yeah, flying into the sun. They both got to take a little dip in the river as well, so they've taken a bath, freshened up, ready to go.
Crisp. Then they fly towards big snowy mountains rising above them in every direction, with valleys below them, green streams.
Everything was so colorful and bright. It's described as like flying over gigantic pieces of jewelry, and they would have loved if this would go on longer than it did, but they were soon sniffing something in the air.
What is it?
Something warm and golden, as
You
if
smell
from
it?
the most delicious fruits and
Where's
flowers
it coming
of the world. And it was coming from somewhere up ahead. And there's a valley with a lake in it that Fledge sees. And look, there's a green hill at the far end of the lake. And look how blue the water is. It must be the place. Sledge came lower and lower in wide circles like a big pigeon. It doesn't say that this time, but now that they've described it once, I just see a little pigeon landing. And now they can see how high up the mountains are, and I'm sure it's very hidden. This is a very special place, so it's very, very hidden in the mountains past all the other crap. And it's so beautiful. It almost brought tears to your eyes, which makes me think of The Last Holiday with Queen Latifah when she looks at the ceiling and says,
Doesn't something ever make you want to just cry?
Yeah. And it always makes me want to just cry. They reach the top of the hill, and there's a long, high wall. And inside the wall, you could see that there was trees growing, and their leaves showed not only green, but also blue and silver when the wind stirred them. It's like a peacock opalescent leaves. And when they reached the top of the hill, they walked all the way around the green wall before they find some gates to enter. It's like, of course, it's the thing that you're looking for is always in the last drawer that you could possibly check. So they chose to walk around probably 85% of the gate until they reached the entrance.
High gates of gold, fast shut, facing due east.
Only a fool would dream of going in unless he had been sent there on very special business. And Diggory, as well as everybody else, understands that this is where he goes forth alone. Which he does, and he sees words written on the gold with silver letters. Something like this, as Lewis says. You wrote it. You know exactly what it says. Also, this is totally got the same spell that the Bell language has on it. I think that anybody that approached this, no matter what language they spoke or read, would be able to read this. Not warning, I guess, but also warning.
Yeah, well, and I mean, considering this must be the place, I wonder if it sounds something like this. Coming by the gold gates or not at all. Take of my fruit for others or forbear. For those who steal or those who climb my wall shall find their heart's desire and find despair. Find despair. Find despair.
So
Should I read it once again, clean?
yeah, sure. But I'll probably keep them both.
Yeah. Come in by the gold gates or not at all. Take of my fruits or others forbear. For those who steal or those who climb my wall shall find their heart's desire and find despair.
Take of my fruits for others. And Diggory's like, well, that's what I'm doing. Maybe it must mean I just mustn't eat any myself. Like, I was sent here to do this thing, so I'm not going to not do it. Yeah. But I don't know what that last line is about. Come in by the gold gates. Like, why would you climb the wall if you could just open the gate? And he just I can kind of see it like the Mummy kind of energy, where he's like, how do the gates open though? And you just kind of lean against it, assuming it's going to be locked, and it opens. Just, of course, it's not locked.
Yeah. Why would it be locked?
Nobody's supposed to be there unless you're supposed to be there.
Mm-mm.
And he can now see that it looks even more private than he initially thought. It's very quiet, very solemn. And there's a fountain, which was in the middle of the garden, but it only made the faintest noise, which sounds lovely, just that tiniest little bubbling brook sound. And there's a wonderful smell all around him. Of course he knows the right tree, because this is magic we're talking about. He sees it at once, because it was at the very center of the garden, and also there were great silver apples, which was all over. This is a very fruitful tree of course.
Yeah. The warning is different than the one that was by the Bell and Charn, because like this one, instead of just saying like whether the Bell is
do or do not.
Yeah, the Bell is do or do not, and this one is like you just have to do it the right way, because if you just take in whatever way seems best to you, you might get goofed.
just listen to the rules.
Listen to them.
He walks straight across to the right tree, plucks an apple, puts it in his breast pocket, and he it's like the ring. He goes to put it in the pocket, but he kind of stops for a second and looks at it and smells it and puts it away. And we're told that it would have been better if he hadn't done that, because now he smelled it. He's like my mouth is salivating right now, thinking this is the best smelling apple you're ever gonna smell in your entire existence, and then some.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I have to put it away. But there were plenty of others. And this is like a little devil on his shoulder. He's like, well, could I just taste one? Like, the notice might not have been an order, just like a piece of advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and while he's having these very Edwardian-like thoughts, he notices that on a branch above his head is some sort of wonderful bird roosting. And Sluis says roosting because it seems like the bird's asleep, but maybe not quite. This bird is larger than an eagle, with a saffron breast and a scarlet crest on its head and a purple tail, and it's got just like the teeniest, tiniest little slit of its eye open. And Diggory will remember until the end of his days that you can never be too careful in magical places, because you don't realize who's watching you.
They might even be invisible, as we've seen in the Dawn Treader.
So we'll never know, because things only happen one way, if Diggory would have taken another apple. But Sluis chimes in to say that he doesn't think Diggory would have taken another apple, even if it wasn't for this fancy bird.
I don't think so either.
No,
Also,
good.
Do you think that this golden purple fancy bird is just Aslan shapeshifted?
It's giving Phoenix, for sure.
It is giving Phoenix.
It's giving Fox.
It could also just be the guardian of the guardian of the garden. Isn't there like a
Gardinian? Well, apart from our fancy bird friend, there's somebody else in the garden as well. He sees a few yards away from him the witch chucking away an apple core. The juice darker than you would expect, making a horrible stain around her mouth. So clearly she's just climbed over the wall and eaten an apple. Doesn't really give a crap, because she doesn't give a shit. She wants that magic, and she looks stronger than ever, but her face has that like deadly white color.
It also is probably much more contrasted with the dark berry juice, the dark apple, which is crazy that it has juice like that. Apples aren't necessarily juicy. I wouldn't expect apple juice to have really any color.
What kind of apples you eating?
Well, I know apples are juicy, but you know what I mean. It's not like you squished a handful of berries in your mouth, but that's almost the way that it's described, where it's like a red, dark, winey juice.
Yeah, on her white face. So this is our second jump scare moment, because, well, actually, we probably had a lot.
This would be like the fucking nun. Oh my god!
Yeah, just
he turns
scary.
around and she's just standing
and
there
then it's just
with
run.
And she throws the apple core.
She chases after him.
Right.
And he closes the gate behind him, and she just like jumps over the fence again. Or
quick, get on, Polly, get up, Pledge.
She vaults across it. Excuse me, like with using what? Just jumps, probably. I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
she's probably much stronger and prouder than ever. So something happened when she ate that apple.
And Diggory says, "Stand where you are, or we'll vanish. Don't come an inch nearer."
Foolish boy, why do you run from me? I mean you no harm. If you do not stop and listen to me now, you will miss some knowledge that would have made you happy all your life.
No, I don't want to hear it. Think so.
I know what errand you have come on, for it was I who was close beside you in the woods last night and heard all your counsels. You have plucked fruit in the garden yonder. You have it in your pocket now, and you are going to carry it back untasted to the lion, for him to eat, for him to use. You simpleton, do you know what that fruit is? I will tell you. It is the apple of youth, the apple of life. I know, for I have tasted it, and I feel already such changes in myself that I know I shall never grow old or die. Eat it, boy, eat it, and you and I will both live forever and be king and queen of this whole world, or of your world if we decide to go back there.
No thanks.
Like, here it is. Here is her first, her first attempt
Yeah, no.
at bewitching.
I mean, it's a good pitch, honestly. You know, she has a lot of good points that might have compelled other weaker-willed characters, but not our boy Diggory.
He already kind of had that mental turmoil, put it in his pocket, and left. He already made his choice.
Yeah, I don't know that I care much about living on and on after everyone I know is dead. I'd rather live an ordinary time and die and go to heaven.
Yep. Boom.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, but one bite of that apple would heal your mom, and you have it in your pocket. We are here. You could just use your ring and go back right now and feed it to your mother, and she'll be safe and sound. She'll come back and feel stronger than ever, and then the next day, everyone will think that she's beautifully recovered, and you'll be happy again. You'll be like all the other boys. She's like, we've been told that she's able to read the thoughts of men. She knows his heart's desire.
Yeah.
And he feels it stab through his heart, this thought. As we were told earlier, he has trouble with hope for his mother, of course, because she's all he's got left. His dad's away, his uncle's weird, his aunt doesn't really seem to care, and
He's looking in the mirror. He's seeing his parents. He knows that the sorcerer's stone is in the philosopher's stone is in his pocket. Excuse me.
It's in his pocket. All he has to do is take a bite. And the witch is like, what has the lion ever done for you? Like, how do you know that he could save your mom? You know that this could save your mom. And it's like, well, he doesn't actually know that this could save his mom. You are just telling him that. And he's like, you'd rather run messages for a wild animal in a strange world. And Diggory's losing this battle of wills. He's like, he's not wild. I don't know.
But when the witch mentions his mother again, he realizes that his mother is awfully strict about keeping her promises and not stealing. And she would tell him not to do it. He knows that. And so the witch, even though she keeps pestering and keep telling him what she wants him to do, he doesn't believe her because he knows what he is steadfast.
And
he
he's
knows.
like, no, this is what I'm doing. This. And he's like, you don't give a shit about my mom. Why do you care so much? And then Polly's in his ear. Good for you, Diggs. Quick, get away now.
And this is where the witch made her fatal mistake. The witch assumed that Diggory has no loyalty to Polly, which is a goof's mistake. Diggory is not going to leave Polly behind. So all of her pleas, all of her bitchiness, like, it doesn't matter. They're just like, absolutely not. Fuck you. Bye.
Yeah. And he's like, no, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
No.
That's my good Judy right there.
Yeah.
We're not leaving her behind.
So if you're going to leave your friends behind, I don't want to be with you. Bye. Go then, fools. Think of me, boy, when you lie old and weak and dying, and remember how you threw away the chance of endless youth. It won't be offered you again.
And they fly back. Diggory not really speaking because he's fucking sad. And I mean, it's a lot of emotions, and sometimes doing the right thing hurts the most, but it's worth
the easy thing is not the right thing all the time. And when he is starting to think maybe he didn't do the right thing, he remembers the tears in Aslan's eyes when he mentioned his mom, and he was sure that he was doing the right thing, that Aslan wouldn't have led him astray, that Aslan would help. It's all gonna be okay.
And they come swooping in down to the animals until they can see Aslan in the midst of all the different creatures. The children jump off ledge. Diggory sees all the animals, dwarfs, satyrs, nymphs, and everything coming up to him, and he walks right up to Aslan, hands him the apple, and says,
I brought you the apple you wanted, sir. Boom, boom, boom. It's back so quick, but like, whatever. There was lots of turmoil and lots of everything, and they're like, okay, now we're headed back.
Yeah.
And apparently we can make it back in one day because
I think it's also just the excitement, and Fledge is used to flying a little more now, so he's probably flying a little bit more efficiently, using the thermals to his advantage, gliding, things like that.
And maybe it's like, yeah, like the Nardian. Maybe it's the Narnian endurance catching up with them as well, and just
Right.
also the oogity spookity of seeing the witch. Like that's the hitch in your giddy up. Like,
Yeah,
gotta get back,
home.
gotta get back to Narnia.
Gotta get to chapter 14. The planting of the tree.
Well done.
And Diggory's like, everybody, this is the shot heard round the world, start of the revolution. He was in no danger. He's like, we're fine. We're fine. I brought this thing. I am.
He forgot his troubles.
The story of them would be handed down from father to son in that new world for hundreds of years and perhaps forever. So he's like, but he's not conceited. He's fine. He's like, this was an Aslan quest. There's no ego in an Aslan quest. And now he finds he can look directly in Aslan's eyes. He doesn't feel scared. He's perfectly content. And he's congratulated because this fruit will protect Narnia for hundreds of years. He tells him to just throw the apple towards the riverbank where the ground is soft. And it's so casual. He's like, yeah, toss it over there by the river. And he did as he was told. He just chucks it over and thumps in the mud. It is well thrown. Let us now proceed to the coronation of King Frank of Narnia and Helen, his queen. The first king and queen, Frank and Helen, are
Frank
now...
and Helen.
Yeah, boring, but okay. Name origins.
Frank.
Name origin for Frank is from the Old French. Franc, from medieval Latin, francus, meaning free, also meaning generous. So a very sweet, generous man. And Helen, which also isn't Helen the name of their mom, the Pevensies' mom. I don't remember if she is, but regardless, Helen is a feminine name of Greek origin. You're gonna love this. That means torch or light. So it can also mean shining or warming, but she is the original Lucy. She is the original light bringer. Lucy is just the secondary fire. She stokes the coals that the witch has turned to ice.
I would say that Lucy is not the light bringer, but rather a light seeker. And lest we forget, it is Edmund who brings the light to Narnia when he leaves his torch.
But I love that Helen being torch. Like, she is the torch. She is the light of Narnia, the first queen. And we know the kings of Narnia are great and all, but the queens are of the people. Like, all of the people love the queens of Narnia. All of them, because who doesn't love a queen?
I mean...
And the children notice that these two are very different now. They are in strange, beautiful clothes, rich shoulders of robes flowing out behind them. Like, they're done up, looking royal as fuck, but also definitely, like, somehow stronger. The Narnian air. They've breathed it in, and it has improved their appearance.
It's worked its magic on them.
Yeah. Fletch whispers in Polly's ear, "My old master's been changed nearly as much as I have. Why, he's a real master now." And he tickles on Polly's ear. But Aslan's like, okay. Loosen those trees, you. Because the animals have made some sort of cage for Uncle Andrew the night previous, thinking that, they have to show this being to Aslan, but they wanted to keep it secure and safe. They basically tied him up, but with trees freshly growing in the ground. Then 2 elephants and a few dwarves with little axes got the trees taken care of, and as well as Uncle Andrew being in this tree cage, they find 3 other things.
There are 3 young trees inside. one made of gold, one made of silver, and the third was more of a miserable, muddy clothed object that seemed to be hunched between the two of them. Oh, wait. That's Uncle Andrew. And now we get to go back a little bit.
The beasts, you remember, had tried planting and watering him, but once they figured out that he was alive, he was an animal, they had to coop him up, and they tried feeding him. They fed them all of their favorite things. Donkeys brought thistles, the squirrels and birds brought them nuts and fruits and worms. A bear even brought a full bee's nest with bees in it and gave him the bee honey, because that's the sweetest treat that a bear could offer you. And then they ended up having to leave him for the evening because Aslan was so busy that day helping the new king and queen figure out how to be a king and queen. They nicknamed their new pet Brandy because he said the word so often, and Aslan didn't have time for poor old Brandy. But
God.
now he needs to figure out what is going on with that creature.
They did give him enough food. They gave him nuts and pears and apples and bananas and stuff, stuff that he could have eaten beyond thistle and bees. But he's such a fucking weenie.
Yeah.
He's such a weenie.
Polly asks if Aslan could do something to unfrighten him and then do something to make him never come back.
Do you think he want? I mean, does he really want to?
Right, he doesn't seem to be having a very good time.
Mm-hmm.
But Polly remembers how he sent her on his mission to do his bidding. So she says he might send somebody else because he was so excited about that lamppost growing into a lamppost tree, and he thinks that he can grow submarines. And Aslan lets her know that it's only like this for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The world is just fresh, and so everything is growing, but it won't be so for long.
Yeah, Aslan can't override Uncle Andrew's will. That's just not what he's about in any aspect.
No, he's about free will. You have to make your own choices and make your own mistakes, and you can always be forgiven and repent for those mistakes, but you have to make them.
Yeah, and if you close yourself off to Aslan's magic, you're not gonna do well in Narnia.
No, you're not.
That's not the way that it goes.
But he magics Uncle Andrew and puts him to sleep so that he can finally just get a break from everything, because he hasn't been able to get a break from the wildness that is Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
And Aslan has the dwarves make crowns for the king and queen of Narnia. They rush over to the small golden and silver trees that were also grown in this little cage that Andrew was in.
More dwarfs than you could dream of.
And before you could say Jack Robinson, they had the leaves stripped off and some of the branches torn off too. And it did not merely look golden, but it was real soft gold.
Dang.
It had, of course, sprung up from the place where the sovereigns had fallen out of the pocket, just as the silver had grown up from the half-crowns. So beautiful, the greedy crowns, the greedy money of Uncle Andrew being turned into the beautiful handcrafted crowns of Narnia.
I like that. That's nice.
They kind of use their little dwarven magic, and a fire starts and a little anvil, hammer, and tongs appear, and next thing you know, they're clinking away, hammering. 2 moles were sent into the earth to find some precious stones, and they make beautifully delicate crowns for the queen. The king's was set with rubies, and the queen's with emeralds, and then they cool them in the river. Oh, this is just beautiful. From the earth, from Narnia. I mean, I know that all gold and rubies and stuff is, well, except for the fake man-made shit, but It's not so organic as this. It's just so beautiful and nice. And once the crowns have been cooled, Aslan makes them kneel before him to place the crowns on their head. Remember, Aslan is bipedal when he wants to be, so he's standing on his hind legs, placing the crowns on their head. And he says,
Rise up, king and queen of Narnia, father and mother of many kings that shall be in Narnia and the Isles and Archenland. Be just and merciful and brave. The blessing is upon you.
"The blessing of Aslan."
And everybody
blessing of
cheers and
Aslan."
neighs and trumpeted and clapped.
Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
And everyone's still cheering when Diggory hears Aslan beside him say,
Look.
And everybody looks because Aslan says, "Look," when Simon says.
right? Gotta tilt your head. And then a little way off in the distance, there's a tree now where there had not been before, which means it grew up silently, or I guess, quiet enough that it grew silently during the commotion, or that it seemed to grow silently during all the commotion of the coronation.
Right. And it is an apple tree. Its spreading branches seemed to cast a light rather than shade, and the silver apples peeped out like stars from under every leaf. But it was the smell which came from it, even more than the sight, that made everyone draw in their breath. For a moment, one could hardly think about anything else. So it was also a magic apple planted in the young growth magic of Narnia. So no wonder it was
Double
like
magic.
boom, bop, bang, Sims cheat, growth.
Son of Adam, you have sown well, and you Narnians let it be your first care to guard this tree, for it is your shield. The witch of whom I told you has fled far away into the north of the world. She will live on there, growing stronger in the dark magic. But while that tree flourishes, she will never come down to Narnia. She dare not come within 100 miles of the tree, for its smell, which is joy and life and health to you, is death and horror and despair to her.
Because she ate the apple against the rules. She broke the rules and now she can't stand. It's like the opposite of the Fey food. Like she can't stand the taste or the smell of the forbidden fruit.
She goofed. And Aslan says, "What is it, children?"
Because they're like whispering and talking amongst one another.
What is it, children?
And Aslan is like, fuck, oh shit. I forgot to tell you, the
You mean
witch.
Diggory?
Yeah, Diggory's like, fuck. I forgot to tell you that the witch already ate one of those apples from, like, one of the ones that tree grew from. And Polly helps explain because Diggory was much more afraid. She goes, so we thought, Aslan, that there must be some mistake, and she certainly can't really mind the smell of those apples.
Why do you think that, daughter of Eve?
Well, she ate one.
Child, that is why all the rest are now a horror to her. That is what happens to those who pluck and eat fruits at the wrong time and in the wrong way. The fruit is good, but they loathe it ever after.
And she says, I suppose because she took it in the wrong way, it won't work with her. I mean, it won't make her always young and all that.
Things always work according to their nature. So she gets what she wants,
Right.
but it's not exactly what she thinks. So she has a unwearying strength and endless days like a goddess, but length of days with an evil heart is only length of misery. And she already knows. She already knows that it's not what she thought it was going to be. And even though she gets what she wants, she does not actually like it.
Yeah. Diggory confesses that he nearly ate one himself. Would he have turned, immortal and had the same fate as the witch?
Let's go to the chart. So
Yes.
it says that, yes, the fruit 100, let's see here. Yeah. So the fruit 100 always works, and it does always work. But if you do it in the wrong way, it doesn't work. So if you do it for your own sake, it won't work because it's not. Well, if you do it for your own sake, then no, it's not good. And even if you do it for somebody else's sake, it's not good because you have to get permission, even if it is a good thing that you're doing. So no, permission doesn't matter what you want.
So Diggory brings up his mom, and because Aslan the witch asked something else of you, didn't she? He says yes.
she said I could heal my mom with it. Is that true? And he says, yeah, but she wouldn't have liked it. She would have had the same fate. It's not what should happen. But we're not going to talk about what should happen or what would happen, but it's not what happened. What happens is now going to be joy. He says that if he goes to pluck an apple, it will heal his mom, but it's not going to give her endless life, and gives him permission to go pluck the apple. And Diggory's like, what? Wait, what? What? But I was doing this for you. Like, I didn't know that I was gonna, he never thought that this was ever gonna happen. Really, he just hoped and prayed. But he walks up and everybody's cheering, plucks the apple and puts it in his pocket, just like before, but again with permission. And this is cute, very childlike. He walks back to Aslan and says, "Please, may we go home now?" And he had forgotten to say thank you, but he meant it, and Aslan understood.
Yeah, so he did it the right way, which is you have to ask if you can have the apple. You'll get what you want, regardless.
Aslan just likes to be asked.
The nature of the apple would have applied in similar ways, but it just wouldn't have been a life worth living.
Right. She would have turned into a bitter woman, maybe, or, we don't know what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been worth it. Just like the queen's eating of the apple will not be worth it for her in the end. We know what happens to her in the end.
But in the end, does it even matter? I'm sorry.
But in the end, it's the end. And the end is chapter 15.
The end of this story and the beginning of all the others.
Aslan says, "You need no rings when I am with you," because I'm sure they start to reach in their pocket after they ask to go home.
Oh, you use rings? That's cute.
And as soon as his sentence is finished, they're already in the wood between the worlds. Uncle Andrew is next to them, asleep still.
Interesting that he sent them back to the wood between the worlds
Instead of instantly back?
Yeah.
It's because of this. Come, it is time you went back, but there are two things to see first. A warning and a command. He points to a little hollow in the grass where there was a pool of water. That pool was the pool that led them to Charn. And there's no pool there now because the sun died, the world ended as if it had never been. Let the race of Adam and Eve take warning. And they're like, whoa, but Earth's not quite that bad, right? He's like, not yet. But you're growing more like Charn every day. It's not really certain that some wicked person will not find out a secret as evil as the deplorable word and use it to destroy all living things. And soon, very soon, before you are an old man and an old woman, great nations in your world will be ruled by tyrants who care no more for joy and justice and mercy than the Empress Jadis. Let your world beware. That is the warning. Now for the command. As soon as you can, take from this uncle of yours his magic rings and bury them so that no one can use them again. Ooh, this is a nice transition. It's not actually, it's kind of Shasta level, kind of core level nice. Because they were looking in his face the whole time as he was telling them this warning. Because if you're going to look at Aslan when he's telling you a warning.
Well, hopefully, if you can stand to look in his face. I feel like in every other story, the characters don't necessarily remember all of the interactions, like the details become fuzzy. So it's nice that Lewis mentions that this particular memory stays with them for their entire life. Whenever they're sad or afraid or angry, they just think about the golden...
This moment.
The golden goodness. My brain read goddess. I was like, that's incorrect. Yeah, they think of that golden goodness and that feeling of being there, and it just makes them well. And it's a beautiful feeling. It's like a aura or a glow or just like their their driving force. Seems like a wonderful gift that would have been nice to have given to any of the other characters who got to go to Narnia, but I'm glad these two get to keep it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful goodbye of Aslan's face, and then it turns into this golden warmth, and all of a sudden they're hearing the noise and feeling the heat and the hot smell of London, and
The hot smell of London.
the hot smell of London World, the sponsor of this episode.
This episode is sponsored by London World. Come on down to London World. We got noise, heat, hot smells, pavement, gosh, everything that you could want. When they finally finish operating into London World, the cabbie's gone, and the witch, thank God, and the horse, of course, but the horse, of course, and there's a lamppost with a missing arm and a cab that's been totally wrecked and a crowd. So it seems like they're coming back to exactly where they left.
And that's the same conclusion Diggory comes to. Great Scott! I believe the whole adventure's taken no time at all.
I'm as smart as a boy in a book.
Yeah, they're all looking around for Jadis. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it's magic, but they didn't really see them disappear. I'm sure they just thought they got lost in the crowd somehow.
So this isn't like Prisoner of Azkaban, where Ron simultaneously sees Ron and Hermione, or Harry and Hermione leave and return at the same time.
I don't think so, no. I think it's a little more leaky cauldron. There's like a haze that they don't understand, and they just don't really look at what's happening. No one took notice of the children because it's whatever year it was, and people didn't care about kids back then.
Yeah.
And Uncle Andrew looks completely different because he's now covered in muck and mud and honey and bee stung and looking a mess. Aslan didn't bother to clean him up.
I forgot about the honey.
But the front door was still open from when Diggory flung it open to run down the stairs, and the housemaid Sarah was still having the grandest old day, watching all the fun, and they were able to just get him inside, no questions asked.
Yeah,
She's like many questions in her head, I'm sure.
Yeah, but Uncle Andrew just books it up the stairs, and at first they're worried he's running upstairs to find more, magic rings that might be remaining, but he's literally just going straight for his bottle of brandy and like takes it, goes into his bedroom, and just like locks the door.
And he comes out later, finally, probably drunk, in his dressing gown and goes straight for the bathroom because he still hasn't showered.
Covered in honey.
Diggory asks if Polly can run up to the attic to get the rings because he wants to go see his mom, although it's only been a millisecond for this world. He hasn't seen her in a long time. And Polly understands. She says, right, see you later, and runs right up to the attic. He takes a minute, but softly steps into his mom's room.
Probably doesn't want to go in there.
Yeah,
Sound all
fresh from
exasperated.
adventure.
Yeah. But he goes into his mom's room and sees her, in her bed as he's seen her many times before, and he takes the apple of life out of his pocket. And just as the witch had looked different when, you saw her in our world instead of her own world, the fruit had that kind of mountain garden glow to it. Diggory took the apple of life out of his pocket, and the brightness was so intense that it threw strange lights off the ceiling. Nothing else was worth looking at, apparently. And the smell was so heavenly and the smell was so good that it seemed as if there was a window in the room that had opened to heaven.
He pulled out that good.
That good apple. And it's funny because he asks his mom to eat it, and she says, I don't know what the doctor would say, but doesn't every doctor say that an apple a day keeps them away? Anyway, he peels it, cuts it, and he gives it to her piece by piece. And no sooner does she finish it, but that she goes into a really nice, like, relaxed, comfy sleep without any of the drugs and medications that she had been on. And he bends down and gives her a very soft kiss, and he can see that her face looks different and just lets her take a nap.
For the rest of that day, he just kind of saw how everything was so plain and boring compared to the apple. It lasted on him.
Oh, and that evening he went outside and he buried the apple core in the backyard, which, like, yeah, what do you, I mean, otherwise, what are you going to do? Fucking throw it away? I don't think so.
No, I do not think so.
And then the following morning, the doctor came by for his usual visit, and he sees Diggory's mom and tells his Aunt Letty that this is the most extraordinary case he's ever known in his medical career. Like, a motherfucking miracle.
Right. Don't tell the little boy anything yet, because it might be a mistake, but
Also, what?
she might be totally fine again.
Like, LOL, I was wrong.
And that afternoon, Diggory goes down to the garden and whistles their secret whistle. I guess him and Polly have a secret whistle. And Polly comes and he tells her the news. What luck? I mean, about your mother? And Diggory's like, I think it's gonna be all right, but I don't want to talk about it yet. So, did you get the rings? She says she's got them all. She's wearing gloves, ready to bury them.
The wing.
And Polly climbs over the wall, and Diggory already knew where he was gonna plant them, around the apple tree. Goes to point out the spot, but the apple tree had already started to grow, as if it was still a young Narnian tree in Narnia, well above the ground. So they got their little trowel and buried all the magic rings in a circle around it.
Cute.
About a week later, it was quite certain that Diggory's mom was getting better, and a fortnight later, she was able to sit outside for probably the first time in years. And a month later, the whole house is a different place. Aunt Letty did everything that his mother, her younger sister, liked. The windows were open, the light, the curtains were drawn back. There was bright rooms, flowers everywhere. They were making wonderful things to eat. The piano was tuned, and his mom took up singing again, which is so nice. Oh, and it says he played such games that Aunt Letty would say, I declare, Maybelle, you're the biggest baby of the three.
So this makes a great point. When things go wrong, you'll find they usually go on getting worse for some time. But when things once start going right, they often go on getting better and better.
Yeah, it's like when things are going bad and you're looking for bad things, that's all you're going to see, and they're going to keep getting worse. But when things start to go good, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then 6 weeks later, he gets a long letter from his father in India that either his dad's great uncle or maybe, I guess, Diggory's great uncle has died, which means that his father, and by proxy Diggory, is rich AF.
Rich. And they don't have to pay for all those expensive medical bills because his mom's not sick anymore.
Yay.
So he's gonna retire and come home forever and ever.
So we're like basically positive he's gonna live happily forever after.
Happy ever after.
Happily ever after. But like, I would like to know just one or two more things if there are there. Sorry, he just says, but perhaps you would like to know just one or two things more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they end up in a nice country house, suits of armor, stables, kennels, next to a river, a park. Like, he's got the goods.
Mm-hmm.
And he, being Sluis, wraps up our story that Polly and Diggory were always great friends, and she came over nearly every holiday to stay with them at their beautiful house in the country, where she learned to ride and swim and milk and bake and climb and do all the country things that she didn't really know how to do beforehand. And in Narnia, the beasts lived in great peace and joy, and neither the witch nor any other enemy came to trouble that pleasant land for many 100 years. 900 years, to be exact.
Yeah, no, this part, thankfully, they cover their butts, because Queen Frank and Helen have children who marry wood gods and river gods, because I was like, wait, who are their children going to marry?
Mm-hmm.
And then the lamppost, which the witch had unknowingly planted it, shone day and night in the Narnian forests, so that when the place became known as the Lantern Waste, and several hundred years later when another child randomly ends up in Narnia on a snowy night, she found the light still burning.
And that adventure was, in a way, connected with the ones I have just been telling you. What do you mean, in a way?
They are.
He says it was like this. I feel like such a modern phrase as well. It was like this. The tree which sprang from the apple that Diggory planted lived and grew into a fine tree, growing in the soil from our world. Like, it wasn't really close to the young heir of Narnia, and it couldn't heal people from near death.
They're
But
good.
they were, yeah, good apples. But inside the tree itself, the very sap never forgot the other tree in Narnia for which it belonged. So sometimes it would like move when there was no wind blowing, like blowing in the Narnian wind, feeling the connection.
I like the wind would blow in Narnia.
In Narnia, and
Yeah.
the tree in London World would blow.
That's so cool.
And our boy, Diggory, grows up to be quite middle-aged and a famous learned man, a professor, in fact, and a great traveler at that time. But the Ketterleys' old townhouse belonged to him. And when a great storm blew all over the south of England, it blew his precious tree down, and he couldn't bear to have it chopped up. So he turned that apple tree into a wardrobe and put it in his big house in the country. And though he himself did not discover the magical properties of that wardrobe, someone else did. And that was the beginning of all the comings and goings between Narnia and our world, which you can read in other books. Oh my god, the plug right at the end. In all my other books. Thank
Just in
you so much,
case.
Gilderoy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Diggory Kirk is Professor Kirk from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And the wardrobe that Lucy goes into is the wardrobe from the apple tree,
Wow.
from the apple tree in the Garden of Eden.
Damn.
And Lucy appears, yes, as we saw in the Lantern Waste. I'm like, does Aslan know all this? Like, does he know that the lantern is going to be the place that the prophesized children... I don't know if he knows. It's kind of like he's the author of a fantasy series, and he's placing cool, fun, magical objects that could be nothing, but also could tie in later. You know, Aslan is Sluis. So he's like, I'm just going to place this lantern here because it was a cool, magical thing. And then later on, he's like, ooh, I can have a fun, otherworldly reason for this. So why the fuck not? Because as we talked about in Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, episode 1, he saw the fawn carrying, like in his head, he had the vision of a fawn carrying packages in the snow next to a lamppost. And that was it. Like, that was the vision in his head. So the lamppost wasn't planned from all the beginning being a beacon from the other world or whatever. It was just a fun thing that he ended up turning into an important thing. And I feel like Aslan rules his country in a very similar way.
See, I feel like this is a Dumbledore is gay type of thing, where like the lamppost is just cute. Or is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a thing, and he was like, that could be fun to utilize.
Yeah.
And I think that Aslan does the same thing. I don't think that it's all planned out. I think
No.
that they like to place something that could potentially be useful, but could also be nothing if they decide not to go with it.
Because it's not what draws her to Narnia. Everything else is what draws Narnia is what draws her to Narnia. Quick little wrap up on Uncle Andrew, who never tried any magic ever again as long as he lived, because he's learned his lesson and he becomes nicer and less selfish in his old age than he never been. But he did like to talk to visitors about a mysterious lady of foreign royalty with whom he had driven about London world with a devilish temper, a dem fine woman.
A damn fine woman. Fiend.
A fiend.
That's crazy. He ends a story with the sentence, but she was a dem fine woman, sir. A dem fine woman.
It's very broad, like a damn fine girl.
We'd like 2 orders to go, please.
Waiter, I'll have 2 root beers, please. I love, yeah.
So that is The Magician's Nephew, which is the ultimate prequel, The Birth of Narnia. We see the lamp of the original book that we read be born. We see the world of Narnia be
Sung into
sung into
existence.
existence. The stars are singing, which we also see in Dawn Treader. The stars sing. I'm assuming that same song of creation when the birds come to eat the rest of the food and bring away the dishes.
Reminiscent.
Yeah. And I just I felt like there could have been a little more because in the other books you do learn the names of the stars and things like that. And I feel like I remember there might be a little bit more of that in the last battle where we learn some more Narnian world building like base lore. But it's wonderful this world was built with song.
Yeah.
Very queer. I'm surprised we didn't get a queer mention at that point, but
Yeah, only 3 queer points for this episode. I'm excited to see what anchors on to the last battle, and honestly just excited to read the last battle. I feel like it's been building up into this point for so long. I don't remember how it ends whatsoever, and I'm ready.
I am very excited and also scared and sad for it to be over, but also just mostly very excited.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, just random wrap up thoughts and things like that. I really liked, or at least in my head, when our two friends, Jill Pole and Eustace, are walking through the ruins of Ruinous, the giant city. I don't think that I'm pretty sure that the stones are described as being gray, not red as in Charn, but rolling with the headcanon that we, whatever, came up with that Jadis was the ruler of the ruinous city. I did definitely think about it when they were walking through Charn, thinking that the architecture would probably be similar and just all because the ruinous architecture was a lot more detailed and fine than you would necessarily expect from giants with the faces carved into the stones and stuff like that. And in the illustrations of them walking through Charn, I saw on one of the archways there was some sort of animal face that was carved into the top of the arch, and they had the animal fountain and things like that. I I love the random interdimensional drop of Jadis though. Like she's not from Narnia. She's not from she's from a dead world in another dimension and she just so happens to end up there. Like is it some sort of fate thing? Like, is that part of his plan or is he just rolling with the punches? Does Aslan want the evil to be there to give purpose to the people? Like to fight something, to have something to work towards, to be a common enemy kind of thing.
Having a protagonist antagonist situation, having something to strive for. I mean,
Because
good and evil, the balance.
yeah, exactly. There has to be a balance. Like you can't just create Teletubby world. There has to be something in there, right? Or maybe that's just the bias of us being Earth humans.
I've never watched Teletubbies.
Uh,
I'm
yeah.
familiar with what it
Mhm.
is, but I've never watched a full episode start finish.
But also thinking of how we talked about Jill being called by the rings, is that
You mean
is
Polly?
yes, I just was thinking about Jill and Eustace in the freaking Ruinous, and I was doing that earlier too.
I had to pause. I was like, wait,
I'm sorry, Polly. When we were talking about Polly being called in by the rings, initially I was thinking that it was Aslan pulling them in, but then they ended up going to Charn and doing all that shit, which is the whole basis of my kind of headcanony question of whether this was all part of Aslan's plan. But going back to my initial opinion that he just kind of rolls with the punches and the random things that are placed here and there, I feel like he wasn't expecting this. he was probably planning on just having a fun animal-filled extravaganza.
Yeah, I think the Polly being called by the rings, I feel like the magical callings, whether it's destruction or healing goodness, like the magic is magic is calling. Will you answer? It's pulling, it's calling me back home. And like the magic, because that magic has a ripple effect throughout every universe, the same way as, like, you know, the wind in Narnia can affect the tree that's in London world, like that. I think the magic is just interdimensional, and like because Jadis understands the magic, she can travel interdimensionally, she can move freely and fluidly, but she is bad, so it'll never be what she wants. It'll never be the healing apple. It'll always be that awful apple.
Yeah, I like that. I was also thinking that, like, Polly was called by the magic, and me thinking that it was Aslan is only because the stories that we're reading are the Narnia books. But even Aslan said back in, I mean, it was also in regards to Narnia, but that the pirates ended up, you know, going through some cave and ending up in Narnia and all these other things. There are other people, there are other people in other stories. So maybe there are other worlds that call to people via magic, and maybe it is Aslan in another form, and maybe it's not. These stories that we're reading are just the ones that pertain to Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia. So my thought is kind of not necessarily relevant. She's just called by the magic, and it so happens that they end up in Narnia.
It's not relevant. I also remembered that when in the Christian mythology of God creating the world, the last thing that they do before human beings have life is that he breathes into their nostrils.
That's where Aslan's warm breath.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was just thinking, oh yeah, that's what the most important thing is. You know, it's the opposite of the doctor spanking a baby on the butt. It makes me, you know, any time you've seen someone come back from CPR, whether in a movie or hopefully not like in real life, that that sort of like that first breath, that Yahweh we are talking about, like it's pushed into you. That breath doesn't. It's like all energy, all matter. It is just there. It's passed along. It can't be created or destroyed.
I think my favorite part was watching the creation and the quick callbacks between the planting of the things and the growing of those things into all seemingly always a tree of some sort. The toffee tree, the silver tree, the golden tree, and it's always a tree. But I mean, I don't know what else it would grow into. I mean, the lamppost, I guess, just turned into a lamppost.
This was the podcast. Me just like
Far off.
far off in the distance. I mean, some people aren't even in the same place when they do a podcast.
Okay, I have a semi-rhetorical question. Because once we go past this book, I don't know.
Yeah.
We might do a spare about it if anybody has any lasting questions. But I was just wondering, we see Jadis's power level come and swell and disappear in the wood between the worlds, and she kind of regained her power on Earth, but not the magic. And I'm just kind of wondering how powerful she is in Narnia if you gauged it off of Charn power being like full power. I feel like maybe she's 75% in Narnia, and then I kind of hope that she gets back to her full 100% power after the apple, because like I like when a villain is equally as powerful as the hero, and the hero has to outsmart the villain rather than just like be stronger.
I think she's at her peak like right before Lucy gets there. As soon as Lucy gets there, we know the winter starts to thaw. And because she has all of Narnia under control, everyone is just negative, sad. When you're negative, sad, bummed out, self-sabotage, you're going to manifest more of that.
Just like Aslan said.
Exactly. So you're just manifesting her magic being stronger and her having more control. But then as soon as Lucy shows up and every different creature sees her and realizes, I mean, it's kind of every story. Whether it's Shasta meeting every animal going down the line, whether it's Caspian meeting his crew, it doesn't matter. Like, as soon as that collective energy of that community is there, the hope is regained, and then I feel like she instantly loses at least 20% of her power.
Yeah, and as we've seen in different places in Narnia, thoughts and dreams can be physical.
Yeah.
So literally they're manifesting their own doom when they are in their doom and gloom wintry depression mindset.
Or
Because
when they're in the doom and the gloom of the doom of the underground, everything bad, everything sad.
yeah,
When they're in the darkness, when they're in the mist.
I saw a Reddit thread about the Lady of the Green Kirtle, and some people believe that the Lady of the Green Kirtle is actually Jadis, and that we just don't get that confirmation in the story because it's not necessary.
The Lady of the Green? The Snake Lady?
The Snake Lady, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think so,
No.
personally, and I think more people thought no than yes, because we're told that she's of the same kind of witch, the Northern Dark Witch. And it's like, okay, well, where did she come from? But at this point, there are other dark creatures that the witch ends up calling into Narnia, I think. So there could be some sort of crossbreed, hybrid. There's other lands we don't know.
Sorry, that whole digestion face was not for you. That was me being like, the fuck? She turns into a fucking snake. She turns into a. She blew.
Oh my God.
She flew away in a bubble, dude.
Wow, how did we not make that connection?
Oh my
that the Lady of the
fucking
Green Kirtle
God.
turns into a snake. She was like, I'm running out. Let me flip through the most boring Narnia book that nobody's gonna check out, and then
Jesus
I can
Christ.
pull from it. Oh yeah, she was a lady all along, actually, and then she turned into a snake, and it was a curse because that was his curse. His curse was supposedly that he turned into a snake every night, which is another thievery. We've caught you. All right, Aslan roars. Give them to me. How many?
So,
I don't know if we've given any book a 5. Maybe Don Treader, we got a 5.
no, I don't think Don Treader got 5.
I don't think so either, actually.
I think I like the story from beginning to end. Nothing is too hasty. It's lore building in all the appropriate ways, even though he has a lot of that and so's and this is how this happened. It didn't lose me in ways that it did with other ones. I like how Aslan has more of a role. It fleshes out every aspect of Narnia and like why Narnia is there, and then also just like gives you more, just kind of like, you know, makes your mind wander in off other directions. Like, what other worlds are there? Like, could Lewis have continued to go on? Are we going to write our own series that connects these stories
Right,
together?
the wood between the worlds. What ifs? Like, because this is magic, fey world dust rings. You really think that they're gonna be dissolved by worldly decay? No. The roots are gonna go through them and then not be able to grow any bigger. And one day, someday, some little girl's gonna pan the labyrinth into the roots of the tree, and she's gonna touch the yellow ring and vanish into the wood between the worlds with no way to get back because the ring is around the root. And she's gonna have to end up in some ring around the root. She's gonna end up in some other mystery world. The fan fiction is writing itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, is it's like you wonder how she's gonna get back, but like I thought that, and then like instantly was like, she has the power to go home the whole time.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. You just have to ask.
I don't know what it's gonna take to get 4 roars for me, and considering I gave the last one, I think I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah.
I want to give this one at least 4 roars, if not a 4.5. Probably maybe like a 4.2, 4.1, 4.2, because I did really enjoy it. I thought it was good. It had like the classic like beginning and ending. It left room for fan fiction and like story growth and just like lots of thoughts. Otherwise, I do feel like there was, as we mentioned, it feels like there was something missing. I'm sure I could go back and dissect exactly where in the story I think it should be added, but there's something else that I want. Maybe it's the fact that this book's only 15 chapters. Maybe that's why
One more chapter.
Yeah, if it was one more chapter, maybe they could get those. Maybe we could get it up to like an actual proper like 4.5. But I'm gonna give this 4.1. 4.1 roars.
I think I'm at a 4.25. And I was almost right with you, but I do just really like it. I do really like it. But I also agree that I would give it a 4.5, 4.75 if there was. I think that that's what it is. I think maybe if we visited one more place, or
We had more from Jadis at some point before.
yeah, I think that
Just
if
kinda
she
fucked
was
off.
if she was able to travel, like if they got her to one more place, if they were able to trick her and get her to another place to try and drop her off in some other world or something before ending up back in London world. I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know exactly what I want, but there's just something missing. I like
Maybe even
Land
like,
of the Dead, like there was just another level that I felt like they could have gotten to. Not that, but in this odyssey of journeys.
this journey of Odysseys. Well, like at the end, it alludes to him being the professor. I wish that they could have done a little bit more about like the time passing in Narnia. Maybe that's what it is. Like everything that's happening in Narnia while he's becoming like Diggory's whole life. Like we just jumped to him being an old man.
Right, during Diggory's whole life is until he's an old man is 1,000 Narnian years, in which 900 of them is peaceful, goody gumdrops, wonderful times. And then in the year 900, the witch is able to come back because the apple tree dies and is able to cast her spells and is powerful enough to do her white witch, winter warlock magic. So honestly, she doesn't really 100 years over 900 years, not that long, and then she's killed and doesn't ever actually make it back because she's not in the movies. It's not like the movies. She doesn't ever come back like that.
Tilda
yeah.
Swinton will always come back.
Oh my god. But yes, 4.25. I think just a little higher than you, but still itching for more, and I hope that I don't think I cried either. I think that if I had cried, it would be a 4.5, but I didn't cry. That's what it is.
I could have, but
Maybe they didn't pull on the mom string enough for me.
really, they kind of like fucking really hit it on the head.
I think that they just maybe they slammed it. They didn't pluck it.
Yeah, well, and for me also, like, it's pandering, and because it isn't my lived like circumstances for me to feel emotional about it, especially when you don't feel emotional about it, seems like so annoying, I guess,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
It was weird. I was expecting to get emotional, and then I just kind of didn't. I don't know. But also, there was just this energy that, like, it was all going to be okay in the end, still.
Well, and also, like, that's her story.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
yours.
not Diggory's story.
And
It's not.
yeah, it's not anyone else's, and things can only happen the way they've already happened. So like, as much as like I think if anything, it would be like the type of thing you would think of like later on at some point, or like I don't know. But it is a wonderful idea to think that there is like some magical thing you can give people that will give them happiness and health
Right.
and peace. But like if you're gonna give it to one person, then like everybody deserves that.
Mm-hmm. And that's all we have for this episode of The Lobster and His Boy with me, Wyatt, the boy.
And me, Clem, the lobster.
Thank you so much for listening. We only have one more book, so I am excited to wrap up with The Last Battle, coming to you soon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thelobsterandhisboy@gmail.com with no capitals, no spaces, no special characters. And we are also on Instagram, TikTok, And now YouTube at Lobster and His Boy, no capitals, no spaces, no special characters. The YouTube will just be a retroactive update of all of our past episodes, and with some new video episode footage in the future, with some fun bonus planned episodes that we have for you guys. So look out for that. Like, subscribe, have a wonderful day.
Don't forget to eat your apples.
This episode is for Narnia and the North,
For Narnia.
for Aslan,
For Lucy. For Reepicheep.
for Reepicheep.
I will